everyone. Hi and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee. Thanks so much for joining me. Just before we get into today's show, at Battle Rap Resume is where you can follow us if you want to know about episodes coming out, interesting tidbits, retweets of battles that I find interesting, or tweets myself on battle culture that are, yearning for those retweets and favorites, but never really being sated. That is at Battle Rap Resume. BattleResume@gmail.com as well. Please email in. Get a few emails here and there of just people asking wider questions or kind of querying or musing, and it's always great to hear from people, so please get in touch. Or the Facebook, a lot of people get in touch through we're on Facebook, give us a like, Battle Rap Resume. A lot of people message me through there, request guests, say for certain things they would like to see on the show, and that's great. I love to see that. And if you like as well, if you want to help out the show, Redbubble, we have the shop there, we sell a lot of merchandise, Battle Rap Resume with the logo on and stuff like that. Hopefully Danny O'Gorman, who was on the show a few weeks ago, we did sort of top 5 favorite Don't Flop battles. Check that out on the YouTube channel as well. He's hopefully going to be doing some limited edition prints as well, so kind of check that out. They might be there by the time this episode goes out, so look out for that. And finally as well, the YouTube, as I said, check out the top 5 Don't Flop battles with Danny. Check out my video about Corey Sharon, the smack killer, which seems to be attracting some quite controversial comments as well. Actually, it's kind of exploded into this kind of Black Lives Matter thing that I didn't intend for it to, but it kind of has. So check that out. Check out the video. There is no kind of subtext, as I'm sure you'll realise, but the comments have been hijacked. Also, O'Shea, I did a best of O'Shea football bars, his greatest bars about obscure 80s footballers, all the way up to your Ronaldos and just hard geezers you've never heard of but sound cool. And I think he said to me, I got the Colombian round here, Carlos Valderrama against Harry Baker is one that I can remember that definitely taught me a new player. So check that. And O'Shea's hopefully in the podcast again. Obviously he was on, that was a great episode all that time ago. I think that was 16, 17, something like that. He actually wanted to come back himself. He got in contact saying that enjoyed it. There's so many more battles. There's 90 odd battles and we covered 7. So obviously there's so many we can talk about. And he also just wants to talk about battles that he's seen in the crowd and he was there for, classic King of the Dark, classic Don't Flop matches that he reminisces on. And I would, obviously check out for that as well. I guess today, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that one of the greatest things that ever happened to Don't Flop was Marlo and Shuffle T. As a fan, I was kind of watching and I kind of appreciate them emerging within time. I remember when Bad Bars came out and everyone was hyping. I remember going crazy on Twitter. I think it was or someone saying this battle has changed battling forever, and it had been this paradigm shift or whatever. And from there started getting into things and watching things like that. And we will do an episode hopefully with the duo and talk about the duos. But for this episode is a Marlo episode, and we're focusing purely on Marlo's solo battles here. And I can apply the same hyperbole. The writing has been fantastic throughout, the sense of theatricality, really pioneering, really taking something forward that, the Mark Risk comparisons were there, but it's so obvious. Sorry to interrupt. No, please.
I feel like hyperbole is a really good footing to start this entire discussion of the battles off on anyway, because there's going to be a lot of hyperbole that we talk about, I guess. So.
And great to have you on, man. Honestly,
mate, it's a bloody pleasure, Tom. Are you kidding? Is that really how you pronounce your name? So it's Quee.
It's Quee. Yeah, it's Quee. It's Chinese actually.
It sounds ironically, it sounds like a Kiwi saying Kiwi, but really fast.
It's speed it up.
It's kind of Quee. Speed it up, Quee. Tom Quee.
Yeah. It's KWEI, I before E, except in Quee. I've been using that joke.
Love it, mate.
I've been using that joke, I think, since year 4. Every time.
How did it go for you in year 4? That joke.
Clever. I think. Okay, Marlo, did you feel this? Because I've dabbled in battle rap, and obviously I'm obsessed with it on a kind of pundit level, and you've been so successful at it.
You literally went from one extreme to the other. There, I've dabbled in guitar. Fucking god at it, and I'm bloody Jimi Hendrix, and
But was there that early impulse towards puns and wordplay? Because I remember as a kid, stuff like that, I before E, accepting Quee, and whatever. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of didn't know why. I just loved it.
I think it's the stupidity. I feel like stupid humor is definitely kind of, I think, something that I kind of have always favored and gravitated towards, just growing up and probably not growing up to that extent. And I just kind of I think puns just kind of become a little bit part of that, like just stupid wordplay.
Yeah.
When you can just make like the simplest joke kind of work, because it's so. I mean, like I'm kind of a bit obsessed with So Bad It's Good myself.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever seen a film called The Room.
Yeah, I'm aware that you and Shuffle and Mos Prob, you're obsessed with it, right?
Yeah, and we never got the sort of three-way date to go and see the film together, which is a shame. We'll have to make that happen at some point. But I actually wrote my dissertation on this film, and it's just like a complete treasure trove of just So Bad It's Good. And I guess that kind of like translates into just any shit bars that you can turn into something.
And coming up to the Josh Fox performance, you know, so many battlers who, you know, even if it's their first like battle on camera, they've done ciphers, they've done playground stuff, maybe they've battled their friends. Like, was this something you were doing prior, or was it very much you were aware of Don't Flop and you wanted to kind of gravitate towards it?
No, yeah, very much the latter. Basically, yeah. So it's no. I was totally, you know, you can imagine me in my hoodie and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
No, I was on the playground getting around in a circle. Do you know what I mean? I was that guy in the middle, just sort of B Rabbit of Fleet Rabbit. But yeah, no. So the way it kind of happened was. So actually, weirdly, Shuffle and I kind of became friends. I was directing a film. He wanted to be an actor at the time, and we were like 17, 18 at the time. And my mate and I were making this really ambitious student film, and Adam was one of the actors in it. And so he basically, we just kind of became friends through that. He started, like, weirdly one day, we weren't even properly like kind of mates or anything. He just started playing me some Eminem, and just sort of pointing out the multis. And I was kind of that for me was kind of a turning point, because I never really looked at rap, I guess, in a really like overly creative kind of light. And this just sort of shone a new light onto it and gave it kind of a new, I don't know, this whole new like niche angle to it that like like as someone who is basically a kind of monkey see, monkey do kind of guy, like just wants to do anything that I see creatively, then I just kind of became quite obsessed with it at that point. And I was sort of driving us between like these shoots and things like that, and then just one day it was like just some EDM or some shit on Radio 1 was playing, and so Shuffle turns the volume down slightly and just goes, freestyle, man. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And then we just started just doing the worst like rapping you can kind of imagine ever, over this sort of Radio 1 EDM beat. And just from then on, we just became obsessed with doing this stupidity. And then we started writing stuff and getting more into multis, and then like, you know, became familiar, I guess aware of this thing called Don't Flop. And we'd always kind of joked around about how like it would be hilarious if either of us ever went on it. So kind of when we went on it, it was after a couple of years of just making that same joke, and then just eventually it kind of became a reality.
So how long from the initial Radio 1 freestyle to Josh Fox? Is that years?
Well, that makes it sound like it's a huge regression. Right. Yeah. Just take that out of context. I'd love that.
That's true.
How far did your career plummet from being on national radio to so from those like stupid. I mean, we for a while, just as long as I owned a car, which I don't anymore. Actually, I never owned a car. It was my mum's, but I had that, and. As long as we were like sort of driving and stuff, we would always kind of just do these stupid freestyles, and obviously never improved because of never freestyle. But I'd say it was a good 2 years. Well, actually even longer, I guess, like 3 years from like 2010 odd time to 2012 when my tryout against Josh Fox. Yeah. And
then how was the Don't Flop discovery? Was it just related videos or word of mouth or?
Yeah, it was just kind of like we were just. I don't even remember, like it just kind of came about organically from just having this mild obsession with multi-syllabic rap, I think.
Yeah.
And then like we discovered, this is hilarious. I can't remember what the first battle I watched was. I think it was Sensor versus O'Shea. And there were obviously a few characters that, you know, at the time were just huge. And like I was kind of obsessed with, I think, just watching these battles over and over. So like, yeah, I mean, just the kind of crop of that time, I guess. So yeah, Sensor, O'Shea, Wizard and Scissors, obviously, Tenchu, Definition, Flex Digits, all those guys. And and it just kind of it kind of came from there, I guess, and just developed,
And in the Josh Fox battle, which we'll get onto now.
On the way back to my Ford, we were famished, so we stopped at a nice little convenience store for a sandwich and ended up having a talk with the manager about this glorious parish and the fact that he was more than ecstatic that since 2004, when established, his store had never been forcibly damaged and not so much as a morsel of cabbage had been torn from his packet or unlawfully scavenged.
In his first, he says that Don't Flop had sent him a video of you spitting, which you had sent them, and that your audition? Because I guess what else would you have had?
Sure. Wait. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, they would have sent that because I guess I had no other...
Yeah.
Because for a second I was like, hang on, I don't remember this ultimate snaking. The fuck was going on? I think like that was meant to be like some behind the scenes shit. Mate, I'd love for that to see the light of day.
I would, yeah.
Do you know what? That was all on one scheme. I can't remember what the actual... the whole thing was, but it was kind of like I know the scheme was Montserrat. I was rhyming like Rocket Man, Montserrat, more.
Apparently you boast about how you will rose with wealth. Is what Josh Fox says as well as part of the content. I don't know if that was ironic or.
I'm not surprised. 2012 Marlo, kind of trying to play off that it's that thing of kind of. And this, I suppose, it goes into the first battle anyway, and like the first few battles, I suppose, that I did. And one thing that I guess I'd kind of want to, like, going back, I'd probably want to tone it, like kind of dial it down somewhat. And yet, on the other hand, it kind of works a little bit. So it's kind of just that whole pointing out the middle class thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of taking away your opponent's armory.
And that was kind of a hot thing, wasn't it? Kind of just like the middle class comedian in 2012. Like, it felt very timely, you and Shuffle coming in that era.
Well, this is the thing, like, I kind of, there's a few, I'm sort of a guy of, like, principles, and, well, not principles, but, well, definitely principles, but not principles. No, I don't even know. But the fucking, like, the thing is, like, I made it, like, a thing that I wasn't going to wear a snapback, because I saw that as, like, totally, that's the kind of hip-hop, like culture thing that I feel like I don't want people to think I'm just jumping on the bandwagon. I want people to actually think that I've got some sort of talent, I suppose, or I can, just I guess appreciate the skill. But so now I just feel like with the current situation with my hair, I do need to start venturing out into more headwear and hats and. I just feel like I've tried snapbacks on a couple times and I feel like I could really rock that shit. And I just feel like the start of my Don't Flop career, possibly overthinking it a bit, I just feel like I really put myself in a position where just if I were to start rocking the snapback, then people would just think I've sold out or some shit. I don't even know. Like, it's a weird thing. But sorry, mate, you were talking about, the being a hot thing with I think so. I mean, like, basically, obviously there wasn't really much of the kind of quote unquote middle classness, like non kind of, I suppose like antithesis to the hip hop kids kind of thing, other than like I guess Prob and Grist existing before it, and
Harry Baker, I guess, kind of in some
Harry Baker a little bit, and I just knew that I kind of wanted to. I mean, I was just obsessed with multi-syllables, and that was like the thing and that's why I think you see it in the first few battles. I'm just like rapping at the speed of light, trying to be disaster, but also funny, and also like maintaining this character, I suppose. But for me, like Maltese was the key kind of thing at the time.
And it works. Like, you know, I hadn't watched this trial for a long time. A lot of these battles in this episode I was familiar with.
I haven't watched it. For ages.
No,
I couldn't, you know.
And no, it is a really good trial. It's the first trial of the day. Birmingham, my hometown Birmingham. I'm not sure why I didn't go to this event. I was at uni at the time, so for whatever reason. But this was a pretty cool event. Actually. Some really good stuff going down here. And yeah, you are the first try of the day. I want to just give a quick shout out to Murta, who was a try on the second day. Good friend of the show.
Man. Shout out Murta every time, man.
Good dude. And Josh Fox. So how did this come about in terms of you getting the actual try? Did you just email them and was it that simple, or did you have to kind of like engage freestyle tournament? How did it come about?
No, man. I just I let Shuffle do all the work. He just did a freestyle tournament and got invited round, and then like I submitted, and then obviously he did his like tryout and all that based off the back of like some freestyle tournament that he jumped into at the last minute, and I kind of like submitted my application basically I just sent it to I guess, and just literally just said, well, here you go, here's a video of me rapping in my kitchen on one scheme, because that was hot. So I just did one bloody scheme the whole way, and then I did the same thing reprised in the third round against Josh Fox. So, but no, yeah, like I don't know, I thought like I had to like try and stick out a little bit, and I felt like, you know, submitting just an a cappella scheme just on one single rhyme scheme would sort of do the trick. And then just got invited to the event. And I was happy that it wasn't actually a tryout event, because I'd been to, that was actually the only other event that I'd been to in Don't Flop prior to going to Birmingham to my actual tryout. And that was like I can't remember which number it was, but they did a series in 2012 of like you know, finding the new talent type events. I don't know if you remember them, but I can't. So this is where like it was actually the event where Quill first battled, and I know that because he battled Gibbo, and I went along to that event. It was also the one where my favorite battle of all time, Josh Walls versus Oust. They battled, and it was like the one that inspired Bad Bars, because they were just like really, they had just such like hilarious wordplay and stuff in it. And and it was but it was ultimately the vibe of the day was a bit weird. I think you ask anyone who was there that day, it was just strange. Like no one was really, even the guys who've kind of gone on to make it big, like they were, I think, you know, Sarters as well battled that event. And, you know, but even so, it was just kind of the whole thing was a bit of a strange event, really. And so when I kind of got the tryout accepted for like an actual event where I think, you know, there were some good headliners, Blizzard versus Roan.
Yeah.
The Pamphlet.
Evil Eyes.
Yeah. So there was some good, like it would attract kind of a bigger crowd who'd like be into kind of, just seeing some good battles kind of thing. So I was that kind of made me a bit more excited. I think the fact that it was, you know, an actual Don't Flop event with a couple tryouts on the side gave me more of a chance to sort of prove myself, I guess.
His first fought when he was given you, and this is how he starts his first, was that your rap name was like a cat's name.
Good stuff. Yeah,
so
it is.
Makes sense. Makes sense to cook this kitten.
I mean, he'd never watched The Wire, clearly. But
No. Marlo, Mr. Stansfield, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not as aware, actually. I don't know if you... So I take it you're a Wire fan. You're familiar with The Wire. I don't know if you watched Dank Schrader versus Heretic. It just actually came out yesterday.
I saw it live. I don't even know if that wasn't judged, was it, that battle? Because I was judging pretty much every battle of that event.
No, I think it was like a kind of one round at last minute, because obviously Bard couldn't battle. But no, the reason I mention it is just because Dank has possibly the most obscure Wire bar yet, where he's basically saying like, punch him to death like Chris did to Bug's dad.
Wow. That's like, isn't that like probably the scene before the intro? of like an episode?
No, that's late in an episode because obviously it's him, like, the bloody, when he does the bloody murder of that guy with Snoop.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course, with the drills, and they got it in the don't they like cardboard up the house?
They have they have those like those guns, those nail guns, don't they? And that's right, how they catch them. Oh man, it's so fucking good.
I mean, I honestly don't remember that specific scene. I do remember Snoop and Chris doing that, and I also remember thinking Snoop was a boy for ages.
Everyone does, yeah.
Everyone's
right. Felicia Pearson, I've actually read her biography. It's called like Grace After Midnight. It's pretty good, actually. It's very harrowing, as you would imagine. Seriously, not a fun read. She apparently, fun fact, got into The Wire just at a club. She met Omar in Baltimore, and he just kind of liked her vibe and just kind of put him onto the crew. And And then she became, I think,
the actor, right?
Yeah. I think Stephen,
he wasn't so in character that he introduced himself as Omar.
No, and then he stole her. Yeah, I think Stephen King said she was the most fearsome villain ever on television. Snoop.
She was fucking scary.
She was.
Really, like, kind of, just didn't take any shit from anyone, and just in a kind of, I think when you're just sort of that small. And like a girl in an obviously very patriarchal sort of surrounding environment. She was pretty damn fierce. She was.
I'd like to see you and her meet. I think that'd be a great situation.
Or battle.
Yeah, like couldn't Hello You do like Marlo meets Snoop?
Oh yeah,
like that.
Mate, we could try and get that. We could try and get that. Yeah. Although our audience for Hello You are sort of very kind of youth orientated. Right. I don't know how many would be we Wire fans.
You're right.
We get in the bunch.
Josh Fox, we should say, he's still here, and he closes his first by saying that you can't watch X Factor without wanking off to Gary Barlow.
I mean, that is true. Yeah. And I did tell him that before the battle. And I am a bit annoyed that he sneaked it in, to be honest, because I did tell him it in confidence. I went up to him and I said, Josh, look, I know we're battling, mate. I know this is obviously a big deal for both of us. We're shaking like a bloody leaf out here on December ball. And I've got to tell you this, and I hope that you're using confidence. I was trying to psychologically mess with him, but no, he went and used it in the end, bastard. I went off to Gary Barlow. Don't just fucking snip that out of context.
You begin with an obvious theatrical tinge, really. Your cleverest rhyme is, and then you don't say anything.
Your cleverest, and just leave it blank. Clever.
I liked it. Josh Fox to you sounds like a fucking American news anchor.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they have Wolf Blitzer, so...
I mean, God, yeah. They've got to have some sort of canid animal in there, I think, to be a successful news anchor.
I think Eagle would be a great first name over there, but it's a little too on the nose, maybe.
I think Eagle Foxwolf would be...
I think he's on CNN, actually.
Good, yeah. How's he doing? Old Foxwolf, yeah, he's doing all right. But Josh Fox, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Josh Fox is genuinely the director of... I don't know if you ever saw that documentary, Oil Town? Gas Town? I forgot.
Yeah.
It's about...
Yeah, about fracking.
Yeah, about fracking, yeah. And so he directed that. And
what?
I remember
what?
that.
Really?
No, not Josh Fox that I battled. A guy called Josh Fox. But I thought bringing up fracking documentaries in your tryout, probably not the best idea. So... I just left it out, but
that's the one about like the water that can like set on fire and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
It is.
But I decided. I mean, maybe there'd be a bar in that if I was going to enter my tryout as a sort of bar-y battler, but I didn't. So
no. So Aryan, you'd be a big recruit catcher if Hitler Youth happened to fish for new talent.
I was annoyed on the day because he wasn't that Aryan. No. I kind of in his video he looks a lot blonder. That they sent me, but yeah, I still think that was all right.
I like that, and like you were saying, from the Eminem onward, there was this like multi-obsession, and this is definitely crops up throughout your battles. It's kind of great. I mean,
Well, this is what I'm hoping will be even interesting for me going through these battles, because there's a definite like switch or a kind of general progression of like I mean, in this battle, I think up until Prob, I'm really just doing multis for multis' sake, and almost kind of doing exactly what I accuse Eek of, which is forcing multis in some cases. Not to like an amazing extent, but it's kind of, one of the things that I absolutely respect massively from the battlers, I guess, I most watch and I most admire, people like Soul, Thesaurus, Tenchu, like these guys, they'll do full multis a lot of the time and try and rap as close to how I suppose you'd speak or try and make kind of proper grammatical sense rather than just throwing the odd thing out there. I'm sure that like here with Hitler Youth happened to fish for new talent. I mean, I wouldn't say like fish for new talent in real life. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense, but it's kind of now if I'm writing, I'll 100% like question that, scrutinize that a lot more than I would have back then, just because I wanted to sound fast and whatever. But I think I think nowadays it's more kind of about trying to make just the best kind of relevant multis, I suppose, and full multis. That could be anything from like
the full multi.
Yeah, the full multi, and so just trying to I guess like things like I suppose full ideas like terms that and full nouns, I guess, that kind of rhyme with each other. Like I think actually it was I had this scheme before, like I thought about a few of these rhymes before, but it was actually JB, I think, against Dank Schrader. He said like block party, Tom Hardy, full multis like that, essentially nouns and that kind of rhyme with each other and make kind of sense as their own idea, I suppose. Yeah,
and there is this element of showy offiness in this battle on your part that I enjoy. That isn't bad. I think most, like, I really like how you say, it's the 4th year of Don't Flop, so it's the end of mother lines, effectively. So then you go into this big flourish of like, your doctor, cousin twice removed, and it's a mouthful, like, and you have a little difficulty getting it out. Like, I guess it's practice, isn't it? Just breathing.
It really is, yeah. I mean, this is, again, I just did it really fast, I think, like, to deliver it. And, this was also like trying to be conscious, I guess, of like the time limits, but trying to say so much, in so little time. And I did it against Cracker, I did it against Prob. We'll look at those, but like, it's, I don't know, you like it's not something that I do nowadays. I just try and put, I guess, quality over quantity as much as I can in how I'm writing. It doesn't always work. But that's one of the ways.
Yeah, you and then you go basically on who you're insulting. You're not insulting the mother; you're insulting this kind of long distance cousin, twice removed relative. Her cavernous crust has bats and stuff, protected under the national trust, which is quite nice. And then you repeat the whole kind of your doctors again, like almost to show what you can do. And suddenly, I cannot be touched, you proclaim. And it's a really
that's a bit weird, though, isn't it?
Slightly, yeah. I don't really know what you do. It's almost like you're like a Roman orator or something. You just kind of.
Suddenly I cannot be touched. What the fuck are you on about? What are you on about? 2012 Marlo. The fuck out of it. What do you mean? I would have loved for him to have just rebutted by touching my shoulder or something, in a strange way.
Well, we'll get into touching shoulders at the end of the battle, actually, because there's quite an interesting thing that happens.
That sounds like a sitcom or something.
I mean, again, so it's interesting that, when things happen in battle, synchronicity or whatever, where two people reference the same thing for whatever same reason or whatever. It's kind of like, I guess, you and the Red Banana with Pedro, but that had a little bit more of a backstory to it. But in this one, you say in the first, mom jokes are over. He says in his second, mom jokes are over, but he goes for nan jokes, and he gets pretty graphic, if you remember.
I actually do vaguely enlighten me on what he said, because I can't remember quite exactly what he said.
Really, I mean, it's a lot of just kind of like, him having like his rape suit on is something that he says, which again, okay, it's similar to, fishing for new talent. It's like, you don't really say that, but he wasn't even multi.
It's a shame. It's a shame, really, because my nan watched that battle back and said she'd always been a fan of Josh Fox before that. And now it's like
got pretty awkward. And Ravage as a whore with more than a savage force. Beg like a dog because I'm hung like a horse. It's not. I mean, it's fine, but it's just a weird thing to do on your tryouts, doing pretty much a round of nan bars.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, it is the same as doing mum jokes, the same that me talking about his second cousin twice removed, dentist, mother's wife, or whatever it was, is in the same way. Because it's just, I mean, it's a cop out for just this, hypothetical mum that everyone has. And, it's, I don't know, that kind of had its time, I guess, in battle rap generally, and has pretty much died a death now. Which, I mean, that's just how it works, isn't it? It's just, it kind of evolves. That's how things go.
Yeah, and in your second, you talk about obviously your nan was disappointed in this battle. Your mom was as well, because you played his bars to your mom. You didn't like them, and her favourite comedian's Russell Kane, which gets a big laugh. Is that someone that you view dismissively, or was that just from the battle?
I think it just rhymed. I think
right.
And he happened to be like a reasonably, not amazingly hilarious comedian, just kind of somewhere in the middle enough that people would tip it towards the negative side. And in a comic way. And
it's a little lame to ask, I suppose, but I mean, do you have comic heroes?
Oh, mate, that's so lame. What are you on about? Comic heroes. Yes. Couple of... actually, sounds so corny. It's a duo. From Australia called Hamish and Andy, who literally went viral, I mean, yesterday. I don't know if you saw that video of like when they actually do the drive time radio show in Australia. And they called some guy, just a random number, and asked if they'd be a reference for a job application, like a prank call. And it went massively viral because the guy was just hilarious and just agreed to give a random stranger who called him like a job reference when their boss called up or whatever. It was hilarious. But anyway, so but in terms of stand up and stuff, I don't really watch too much stand up. I really like Ross Noble. Went to see him live a couple of times. More will come to me. I'm sure.
We'll go back. We'll return to that. So slow it down. I said you're a cunt is kind of classic, tryout fodder, but it works. As OLD as the postcode to this venue is pretty nice.
Jesus. For my first battle, I mean, and that's a very venue specific bar.
And I'm from Birmingham, and I'm pretty sure it's all B, isn't it? Or is there an O? Was it an O there?
There was definitely a zero. Okay. It was like 0 LD or something. Okay. Which was strange in itself because it's not normally two numbers. So it was like, it was probably I think it was BL5 0 LD or something. Right. So this was the end of the postcode. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like you're living in the 20th century, Fox.
Oh god.
It's a short round, but again a powerful round. Like you kind of know what to do already, which is quite impressive. Like technically you've got good stamina, but also the angles they work. Even though obviously you become way sharper later on.
To be honest, for me it was like get to that third round. I only really cared about the third round, and I was kind of stressing about this round for a while, and so that was kind of more what I was, because I'd obviously never done a battle before. I'd done like drama shows and had to learn lines for that, but this was like a different thing, and doing a whole round, the third, the same scheme off the top of my head was always going to kind of be a bit of a challenge. So I was kind of the first two rounds were pretty fillery, I thought, for me, and then I just kind of wanted to get to that third because I knew that was could probably be the most impactful one.
And Josh wraps it up, with his third. I quite like Josh on this, actually. I think he's quite decent. He it's not like he was someone you just bodied on your tryout. Like he does well as well.
I was genuinely like impressed, and he pretty much like delivered with like loads of confidence and skill and everything like that. And that was what I was afraid of, but obviously wasn't. It was obviously all fine as soon as the battle had been done or whatever. You build it up a lot in your head, you do, when you're kind of going to a tryout or whatever. But, I think he did a great job.
He did, and he has some funny lines in his third. He's such a wanker. You think of 4 players when you and 3 mates play 4 games.
4 games,
yeah, it's pretty funny. You're as hard as paving stones. No way, Eamon Holmes.
That was good. See, again, paving stones and Eamon Holmes. You know, HBO, Game of Thrones.
April Jones.
Do you know what I mean? It's my favourite shows. You know, so these are all examples again of just full Maltese. So not like, you know, I bake some toast, which would be, you know, the action of doing one thing.
And
we're learning a lot as we go along this one, Tom. I'm enjoying this.
In your in the Cracker Battle is where it comes up more, but I just want to talk about it now. Your kind of reaction to the bars and stuff like that. Like if you watch the Cracker Battle, you'd be like, oh shit, Marlo sounds like an asshole in this Josh battle, but you weren't really that bad, but you still had a little bit in you. I mean, everyone does, right?
Sorry, I just ate some steak. How fitting is that? I just took a mouthful of steak as you were talking, because I thought you were going to be a bit longer. I'm sorry, mate.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, so how do you mean?
No, I mean, like, you know, you kind of reacting to certain bars, and you won't just kind of stand in stone faced. You're a little bit more animated.
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of... I think this actually weirdly came up with one of the guys I met out in LA. I battled Deadman recently in LA.
Yeah.
And obviously Deadman started going in on my hair, but I had my cap on. So I kind of lifted the cap so that you know, people could see the hair. He could, you know, see the hair as he was describing it, kind of thing, and like get his thing. And it's kind of like one of the guys I was talking to out there, Pete Gershio, he's a comedian. He came up and was like, that was great, because like I think a lot of battlers probably, I don't know if it's like pride or something, they might not do that just because there's a bit of a kind of sense of, you know, you want to defend like your pride and you want to like win the battle, but like for me it's like literally from this first battle it's always about like putting on a show. It's more about just the overall show rather than like who wins and who loses. But I think, to be honest, like most battlers kind of have that attitude now as well. There's only really a select few that take it so seriously that they can't, you know, lose or anything like that. And the same goes for like kind of, I guess, reacting to bars, that sort of thing. If there's a funny line said, like, I mean, especially when it's tailored to you, obviously, if you want to laugh, you should. And I just say it just makes it a lot more fun, relaxing to perform.
Yeah, and most people, probably recall your third round. MA actually calls it magical in the judging. The Peterborough round, where you go through, both his hometown and, of course, the mighty Mark Grist, I believe, resides from Peterborough originally. I have been to Peterborough. I was there, weirdly, for a spoken word competition chaired by Mark Grist. I have explored the place. It is quite interesting. It is a little bleak at places. It's one of those kind of classic English towns where the greatest thing about it is the kind of cathedral.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's an amazing, oh my God, wonderful, wonderful building. And, you were obviously tongue-in-cheek here, but have you been to Peterborough? Were you aware of it, or...?
Yeah. No, I genuinely hadn't. So that's kind of, that's the first admission, I suppose. But like, no, I
exclusive.
I just wanted to do like a concept round, I guess, and just I saw he was from Peterborough, and he had these, I don't know, he had these obviously like a music video or two where I could claim that he was trying to be all proper, like kind of hip hop, like street, whatever you want to call it, and I just wanted to point out the best things about his town, I guess, because I thought it'd be a unique angle, really. And I think it kind of pulled off. Yeah, got a few mentions in there. I can't even remember the name of the places that I was mentioning, but I have been to Peterborough since as well. So I hadn't been before that, but I have been since, and I like it a lot. So there you go. So it is lovely. It's lovely. So I confirmed what I was talking about. It was life imitating art, so fine.
It is. Yeah, it's an interesting place, and it's interesting as well, the judging. So it's all free to you. Agent goes 2-1, Double L also 2-1. MA gives it to the posh white guy. Again, as we were saying, calls the Peterborough round magical. We come back. Says that the tryout took him back to dialect and double L shit, which is like, you know, a huge compliment straight off the bat.
That was a great, it was a really good feeling, like, to have that and to obviously get the win, but I think just the response from like the crowd and as you say, as well, like at that point, you know, the people who, like, I was, you know, MA, all the judges, and I was, you know, watching these guys online and stuff, and so it was definitely a pretty cool feeling at the time. So
yeah, amazing. You know, does his customary arm around the competitors kind of thing as the video closes out, and Josh Fox, I don't know if you noticed, just tries to get his hand off him as quick as possible. Like,
wait, what?
Puts his arm around both of you at the end, and Josh Fox like his hand whips out and tries to get his hand off his shoulder straight. I mean, maybe he's just not a fan of being touched. But, it's quite.
Hang on, I'm literally gonna have to watch this right now.
Yeah. Give us a live commentary. Actually, that would.
All right. Okay.
Someone mentioned it in the comments, and then I didn't realise where it was until the end, and it is quite noticeable.
This is after the
judging, right at the end.
Right. Okay. So this is when the result, the result is being read out. Hang on. So it makes a noise of that battle. Da 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 da. I'm watching it on mute, so it doesn't completely screw up a whole lot. I do remember, like, vaguely seeing this, actually, like the first time I saw it. I skipped a little bit more to try and get there. Here we go. Go check out that battle, man. Oh, Marlo won that. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Both of these guys. What the fuck? Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this. Like.
Well, why would you? You weren't kind of at the right angle to see it, but. Yeah.
But that's so strange that
he
like really aggressively tries to take his hand off and like push him away. That was quite bizarre. But I don't know.
Yeah, everyone came out.
I don't know. Maybe there was some shit going on behind the scenes that I didn't even know about. There, whispering some shit while the cameras were off. I don't know.
But it's one of those. This is what the show's all about. Those little moments in the back of the battle videos that you maybe didn't see. We're going to.
Exactly. Just little Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to scrutinise. So before we get into Cracker, which is a really interesting battle, great battle, I just want to talk about like the prep time you're putting into these performances. Like, you're clearly very well rehearsed, and the writing's very dense as well. Like, you know, you must have quite a long time to get ready for battles.
So weirdly, no, actually, for these beginning, I say no, but it's like, for me, it's not a long time, because now I'll try and get, you know, a battle in advance as early as I possibly can from the event that's going to happen. And for these ones, it was like 2 weeks or so, which was to write everything and to prep it. For me, I mean, at the time, it kind of was fine, but now, in terms of my writing now, like I just try and think about things like a lot more, into, you know, from what I put in and take out and all that kind of thing. So for the time, it was 2 weeks was fine, and that was the same pretty much for all of these first three battles after Prob. Eek was a bit longer, but that was it. That was basically the time. Yeah,
that's impressive, man. And in terms of sort of actually rehearsing, say, on the solo battles, do you just pace a lot? Do you read it out to yourself? What is your method?
So my method is just to record it, actually. So I'll record all the rounds on my just on the phone. And weirdly, with these battles as well, this was actually the time that I lived with my girlfriend, who I'm still with, and we live together properly now, but we weren't living with other people. And I also lived with Shuffle and another girl. And so I'd like sort of practice, I guess, around them, but also I remember, like, this was a place we lived in, Vauxhall in London, and I'd walk to work as well and just sort of very quietly recite the bars into my phone. So I'd be recording them again, but from memory. So if there's any kind of different words that I say or whatever, then I'd kind of get it on tape. And it's literally that ridiculous that, like, it comes down to, like, different words or whatever. If I, like, say a word differently, or, you know, like, I don't know, if the pacing is slightly off and how I deliver it, like, it will fuck me up. So I have to I literally have to record it as I would perform it, sort of thing.
And then sort of physically, words aside, like, is that rehearsed or is that more? Because you are quite, you know, dare I say, you got the PG step at times.
Yeah, no, most of the you dare, but in a good way. So, yeah. I mean, I seem to remember I definitely rehearsed like trying to be a bit more animated, but that kind of does come a little bit more, unless there's very specific things tailored to what I'm saying, like actions or whatever that I'm trying to do tailored to what I'm saying. That kind of comes a little bit more on the day, I think.
Yeah, entirely. So we'll get on to the next battle against Cracker.
Going on some Twitter chat. He said apparently in battles all he ever hears is ginger this and ginger that. So I quipped him back, saying, "Wait, you're ginger? Wow, that could really help my writtens. Thanks." Forgetting he does.
I have covered this with Cracker on our episode, but I wanted to cover it with yourself because it's a great showing on your part. This is late 2012, uploaded early 2013. This is when Don't Flop are very much riding that 2012 wave. There's big events happening in new cities, one of them being Southampton. Bids you up for the Birmingham Tri, obviously going against Cracker, who would go on to do great things as well. It's awesome, isn't it, that like both of you were so early in your career and you were just going so hard.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And who'd have thought we'd have met again as well?
Yeah.
Like a little bit further down the line. But yeah, no, Cracker's a great guy, and it was obviously weird going into the battle with him because I'd never met him and stuff, and I just had the with all these battles, kind of towards the beginning, it was sort of like that because you don't really know them, and I only met him face to face on the day. But yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, it's so Cracker begins, and a big crowd, which you say as well.
That was a good crowd. That was a good event as well.
Yeah, seemed like a really good event. So crowd begins on you. You're living a lie. Got bored of Shakespeare, and history got shite, which I don't really know what it means. But so you came to Don't Flop and thought, I'll give it a try.
There you go. Yeah. So just Cracker recounting my life story there, but no. It was it was interesting. Yeah. Bars from him, but I knew he'd go pretty. I've seen his tryout battle, and he was obviously very good, and I knew he'd
sketchy.
They got sketchy every time, and I knew that Cracker would obviously focus quite heavily on the punch angle. Yes. And I was trying to again, this was all around the time where I was trying to big it up as much as possible to make it, a strength as opposed to a weakness. It happens in this battle as well, but I'm just going at it full class. I even talk about, I think, how my class is middle or whatever.
Yeah. Class is kind of mid, but
kind of mid. Yeah,
we'll get onto that. I do really like Cracker's first. Actually, I think it's probably his strongest round, and he does go on these angles like the posh angle. But it's your second battle, and Josh Fox didn't really take up the mantle properly, so someone deserves to have a good bash at it.
He had hilarious bars in that first week. It was talking about the private jet or something. He had a line about private jet and. Mm-hmm. Pennsylvania and stuff.
Yeah. He knows that his boys going to the pen rather than go Pennsylvania. Yeah, when was the last time you actually travelled on a bus? He asks in exasperation.
Which is ridiculous because bus is the only way I travel. I literally hate the tube so much that I will only take buses everywhere.
Oh, really?
I can't fucking stand the tube. I mean, it's just maybe that's ridiculously middle class, but I'll happily wake up 2 hours early to take two buses to work as opposed to get a tube at rush hour. But yeah, anyway.
Shuffle convincing you in Cracker's guise. It's like a debate team, except you get to deliver it in rhyme.
I mean, that is, again, fundamentally, he must have wiretapped us because that's exactly how it went down. Exactly how Shuffle sold it to me, and I won't have it said any different. So there you go.
And he's saying you didn't understand Amanda Todd. Why didn't her daddy just buy her a car? Which is quite funny.
Yeah,
pretty dark.
Pretty dark. Yeah, I remember that at the time. I was like, oh shit. It's a dark line. Yeah,
pretty dark. I ain't going to tell you why to vote for me. I'm telling you why not to vote for him. Cracker has this kind of quite weak slogan that anchors down all of his rounds. But
he says that every he said it every round, didn't he? Yeah. It's an interesting one, but I see why he did it. Yeah, I mean he won, so he obviously did something right.
I think he. I think you would have won if the battle was done today and it was exactly the same rounds.
I don't know though. I'm unsure. I definitely wouldn't do the same rounds though. With all three of these opening battles, I'd change a lot about them. Not everything, but I'd definitely change like a few things.
So what would you change in this one?
In this one, I wouldn't do the third round. I think I tried to ride off of the success of the third round in my
the sort of spiritual round.
Yeah, and I kind of like decided to just blow one tiny thing out of proportion for an entire round again, and it didn't really go off the same way that I kind of had hoped it would. There's also just a few like kind of, I can't even remember what they are exactly, but just a few kind of just cheesier lines, I guess, like dotted, like sprinkled throughout. There is some like funny stuff in there, I think, as well in the Cracker battle. But yeah, I mean, like I definitely do the third round against Josh Fox again, but pretty much around that time, like there's a lot more that if I were to repeat those battles or do them again now, that in hindsight I'd do differently.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I say that is just because I think it was Don't Flop were less accepting of you and what you stood for back then, and all the judges make bones about the fact that they're not sure if you're a rapper or whatever, Whereas I think if it happened now, there is no, you know what I mean? We live in such a kind of diverse environment now as battlers.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is really cool. It's it's so kind of diverse now that the battle rapper has become its own kind of term, quite kind of, I think, separate of rapper in a lot of cases as well. So yeah, it's I'm sure it'd be very different if we did it now.
Yeah, once again, you're here in another Cracker's country. In another Cracker's face, man. Cracker's kind of tubby.
I was
powerful. That is
riding off the old Arsenal shotty battle success. At the time. I don't know if it hit a million views by then, but parodying Arsenal's opening lines there.
It looks like you got to go for the ginger jokes, right? Actually, no, I like the stuff about his chin. Your chin, you can use your chin as a safety mattress for stunt risks.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Again, really weird kind of phrasing and rhyming, which I'd maybe do the same idea but phrase it differently. I mean, stunt risks, and I sort of rhyme that with like aberrant tongue thing.
Yeah.
And it's all a bit kind of, I just sort of am aberrant, abhorrent, aberrant. Yeah. It's all just a bit rushed and fast, but I mean, it works on the day, I think, but it kind of like, again, it's not really something that I'd write nowadays.
Your second battle, man.
Fun as it was.
Yeah.
He
studied drama at Roehampton Uni. Hell of a degree. I love the way you deliver that line. Brilliant.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah.
I think like that bit I was happy with, like Macbeth in every scene or something like that, and
him playing Juliet in the play, and it's funny, man. Yeah, it is funny. And then you say your class is kind of mean, as you said. There's no one in my mind who's a nicer kid. I bet you're the type of prick who recycles his entire bin by following the guidelines provided on the leaflet which your local council provides you with.
Yeah,
Madness.
I'd keep that. I'd keep that if I did it. I did it, definitely.
Really good. Like, you can tell people are really impressed with that, and that is just hilarious. It's both hilarious as a kind of like Spike Milligan tongue twister in of itself, and the kind of sentiment as well.
Cheers, man.
No, I mean, you're cooking, and Shuffle's there in the background. You guys, even if was he battling at that event, or was he just there to
No, yeah, he just bought a ticket down to support. Oh, so sad. We recently did a thing at Boomtown for Hello You, right, where I'm head of video at Hello You, so I'm filming all this stuff, and we've got Adam doing interviews and sketches and all kinds of shit. And we were just there at Boomtown, and I've never been recognised more than I was at Boomtown, and it's just like one of those things where I'm just with Adam, and it just must look to these people like we're attached at the fucking hip, like we're just literally just inseparable and just never can live separate lives. Anyway, Adam's here, so no, I'm joking. Right. So yeah. Anyway, so sorry. Yeah. So Shuffle's there and cheering me on.
It's great to see him, and he gets mentioned in the second. Crack with the impression of you, Shuffle. You're like my 8th cousin. That's blood to me. which is pretty funny on his part. Kill off your dog. It's Marlo and me. You know, it's
that's all right.
You've got it. Yeah, that wasn't so good. You know, he comes with a 4th birthday scheme. You kind of referenced it a little more subtly than he does, but you know, he comes with that. You know, thinking inside the box for too long, like David Blaine. Lots of bars. You know, not necessarily that memorable, but like consistent. Cracker always has that, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he was definitely kind of etching out the, I suppose, the difference in style in that round from Cracker. Like as in the difference between, you know, him and me, basically. Because he probably knew that I was going to come with pretty much 100% jokes. So yeah, he had some pretty good lines in there, but it definitely kind of it sort of solidified the battle as one of those ones which is like, you know, it comes down to your preference, I guess.
Totally. And your second is equally brilliant. You talk about him laughing at his own jokes, which is something he does do, and it is a sort of an annoying habit, I suppose. Every time
I just realised the irony there because I just laughed.
Yeah, you did.
As you described my own.
But you weren't laughing at what you just said, if you know what I mean. So I guess it's a little minor difference. Every time he spits a bar, he giggles harder than his sister, and that bitch is a wicked tickle partner.
Tickle partner.
Yeah. Nice.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Tickle. I forgot about that. Tickle partner is kind of funny.
Yeah, tickle partner is funny.
I mean, sometimes it's just, you know, hitting the right words, even if the idea isn't that strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like hitting the right words can just, you know, send like the bar into or send the joke or whatever into a sort of whole new realm, I think.
Yeah, and there's a great section of you getting involved, you know, basically saying how awkward is it the C major is better than you, which is kind of something you did at 5th birthday as well. But, you know,
we didn't touch on it that much, but yeah, we kind of... that got his reprise, I suppose, didn't it? Yeah.
It was. It's not bad. And then he does a long hat scheme because I believe you and Shuffle were at some sketch group hats, were you, or something like that?
Oh yeah. Shout out hat every time. Yeah. Go check it out on YouTube. It is good. It is good. We did some funny sketches.
Yeah. No, great.
But yeah, I wasn't sure about that scheme from Cracker. I told him as much.
Yeah.
I was like, no. But he's a great guy. Just what I wasn't. Yeah, I really wasn't sure about that. And I think he still deservedly won the battle, but that bit was like,
yeah. It was very kind of like, you're from this group called Hats. I'll do a Hats. Like there was no even attempt at linkage. It was very clumsy.
It's a bit like sort of stretching, I guess.
Yeah, slightly. And then your third, we'll just wrap up. You do the whole spiritual Pocahontas angle. I actually want to watch this track or video. I haven't actually got hold of it yet.
It's actually really good.
Okay,
that's the thing. Like it was, you know, I mean, up and coming rapper. It's good. It's a good little video he did, and I just kind of laboured this point, I think, and it probably wasn't the best idea to try and, you know. I was, you know, trying to basically one up my third round against Josh Fox, and it didn't really work as I kind of wanted it to. But it was still, you know, it still had its moments, I guess, in there.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're going to have to remind me because I don't really watch it back. So
it does good. I mean, I don't know. I think it would have hit harder maybe if Crack was a bit better known by the crowd, maybe because you both were quite early, and his personality, like 5th birthday, for example, the angles you take succeed a little bit more. It's a little long, and the crowd do get a little quiet at times. But you close with a huge closer. Spiritual, you ask, you're nothing but the weakest poser. Imagine this freakish ogre leaning over, trying to reach his toes, teaching yoga, looking like someone spilled baked beans on a panini toaster.
I was happy with that. See, again, I'd keep that. I know that Cracker really didn't like any of the ginger jokes I said in that battle because he thought they were really corny, but I was quite happy with them for a sort of, you know, one of those things which is obviously going to be a played out angle, but kind of it's like one of those ones which is, you know, a crowd pleaser, but definitely played out, but you do it anyway because it's fun and it's a crowd pleaser, and you're there to have a laugh at the end of the day, Tom. That's what I always say.
It's Stone Flop Entertainment, boys. The clues in the name.
There you go. You know,
yeah.
Stop abusing the game. The clues in the name.
And and then we get the judging. Cracker is Mickey's choice. He calls you an actor who's been given the role of a rapper, but all he's been given to study the part is grist and diz battles.
I mean, I agree with, weirdly, like, well, actually, that is kind of fair, I suppose, in the sense of, like, grist, I guess, would be anyone's only frame of reference at the time for, like, what I was, you know, how I deliver, and probably still, you know, for a lot of people. Like, I saw a comment, I think, on one of my battles the other day, which was like, I swear Mark Grist did this first or something, like referencing to Marlo. And, like, I get it to an extent, because it's like, oh, you know, the non-rapper middle class guy. I get it in that vein, but we're incredibly different, like, rappers stylistically, and when it comes to battle rap, I mean, really, really different. And actually, yeah, in that battle, to be fair, I was probably taking a lot more influence from Disaster, I guess, because I was just, you know, oversaturating myself watching Diz battles.
So you were a big Diz fan in the day?
Yeah. I think this was around, you know, I think this was post. It was like just when the Cannabis battle had come out.
Right.
I could be wrong about that. Definitely the DNA battle had come out, and I was a big fan of that. Watched that a couple of times. Yeah, I think I was just, you know, when it came to sort of multis and just kind of keeping that energy in the room, that was kind of one of the things that I took a lot from just watching Diz battles. And so yeah, but weirdly, I kind of, you know, I knew that I didn't want to be like him, but I think it just rubbed off way too much in a kind of, because I was never going to be that, like, kind of aggressive style, obviously. It just sort of rubbed off even when, you know, telling jokes, which was a strange thing to happen, really. It kind of made for a weird sort of, you know, performance, I guess. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, so I guess from Mickey's point of view, probably a fair assessment, to be honest.
Yeah, it's actually quite poignant what he says, surprisingly.
Yeah, it was, and it actually did make me laugh, like an actor who's been given the role of a rapper. Which, I mean, in a way, like, that was kind of what was going on. I mean, I'm not gonna, like, I really, really liked rap, you know, for the technical side, and I was a performer. Like, I had done National Youth Theatre, for example, and I did, like, a drama class, which yes, Shuffle did as well. But God, that doesn't matter. Oh. What parts did you guys? Attached to the hip.
What parts did you guys play? Can you remember? Did you have any big roles in any plays? Or
no, I don't know. I remember, like, Shuffle was in, I think it was like Midsummer Night's Dream or something.
Yeah, I can imagine him as like a puck.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. He was like Lysander or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's still a good role.
Yeah, he had the main role. No, he was.
Yeah.
And this, no, that gets. Wait, you'll be able to talk about that with him.
Yeah.
For his Soweto Kinch battle.
Is that the image?
Yeah, that's
yes.
So yeah, there you go. So we had to chat about that. But anyway, yeah. So, so in a way, that was kind of fair, you know, and like I just. It just sort of happened that way.
And Dots, just to end the judging, has you caught from the transition from poet to rapper in his eyes. And MA is the same. He gives it to Cracker. You know, they all seem a little bit dubious, as I've said, of the idea of you. But I think that regardless, performance you give in this battle is mighty, man. This is a great showing from you, and really, like, you know.
Thanks, man. I genuinely, like, I was, you know. Like I say, there's a lot I'd change about it, but I was happy with just, I think at that time, especially like around, all of the opening battles, it was just kind of overperforming to compensate with nerves, or compensate for nerves, I should say. So yeah, just like trying to just put as much energy as I possibly can into the performance, because I was quite nervous going into the battles, and which is kind of why I think I over deliver sometimes, or like, you know, speak a little bit too fast, which I've tried to since rectify, I guess.
Yeah, I think definitely that definitely cleans up as we go on. And the next battle against Mos Prob, before we just get into this, obviously before this, your last sort of cracker happens, and then 2013, by the way, is just like a crazy busy year for you battling wise. Like there's something like 9-10 battles that you undertake either solo or with Shuffle, which is crazy. And before Mos Prob is both you and Shuffle versus Mickey Worth and Double A. As I said before, by the way, we're going to have Shuffle on for an episode, and we're going to have you guys on, and then we'll do the 2-on-2s, in some later dates. But just to kind of, in a chronology sense, then we had the Bad Bars battle, then we have you versus BJ and Left for the Compliment battle, then we have Mos Prob. I mean, was there a sense, you've been battling a lot, you've been battling on big stages, was there a sense that people were getting to like know you? Did you feel any recognition being more than just kind of what you were against Josh Fox?
The turning point definitely was April Fools. Yeah. Because we did those 2 battles. So we did the Compliments one and obviously Bad Bars. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, I mean, obviously Bad Bars especially kind of, there was a big light that was kind of shone on it, I suppose, in at least in the kind of underground battle rap.
It was huge when
world
it came
exists.
Out. Huge.
Yeah, but I mean, like people were definitely kind of recognized. I think like JME tweeted about it, and there were a few other kind of notable names, which was obviously a bit of a bloody lift to the old confidence. So going into the May battle, I was like, weirdly, so this was around the time I was just finishing uni, and I had to submit my dissertation, and so I knew about this battle for, I'd say, maybe just shy of a month or something with Mos Prob, and I hadn't started writing for it at all because I'd left everything to the last minute with obviously my uni work and stuff, because that's what you do, and and so like I was just rushing to finish that up until the very end of the month, and then and then I think I had something like a week and a half to just write and prepare for Mos Prob, and it was difficult to find the right angle with him. I don't think I did, and this is probably the battle I'm least proud of, actually. So it's kind of, I don't like how it came out. There's a couple of lines which I'd keep, and that's it basically. And one of them doesn't even rhyme because it's just the cunt line. The D stands for cunt.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I was actually there. Yeah. It's weird. I was watching the battle back this afternoon, making notes, and you can see me and a friend, and it's just weird to see me like 3 years ago, just sort of staring there. And I lived in Liverpool at the time, so it was kind of literally around the corner from us. So it was fantastic. And like I say. So I was there, and it was just around the corner, and I remember thinking it was a really good card, like and you and Shuffle battle Ricky Riley at the event, which is an interesting battle. Were people that I was really excited to see. Like I knew of you guys from Bad Bars, and I remember I was bringing a friend along, and he didn't really know battling, and I was like, I remember saying like, oh, you like Shuffle and Marlo even if you don't like battle rap. I was just like that, but obviously it was a really good event, a unique setting as well that kind of hampers the battles, doesn't it? It's kind of quite a boomy environment that it's in.
It was that was one thing I remember, like, because I actually arrived, I think, with like MA, and I think we were with Rowan as well, and we all kind of got there, and I just remember like the initial Bent Legs as well, because Bent Legs helped to put that event on. It looked so fucking cool, but the acoustics were like a bit strange, I think, with how battle rap should, I guess, be received. I don't think it was so much, maybe not so much on the day, but maybe watching it back on YouTube, it sounded a bit strange. It was or the other way around. I actually can't even remember. It's been so long since I watched any of those battles back. But like, it was that dome.
Just for people listening, so it's kind of a really high-tiered dome with almost a balcony around the top, and there's probably about 100 people there, so it doesn't quite look full, even though there's quite a fair few people. It's quite a big venue, probably bigger than what Dome Flock would normally have, and it was
St. Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah. And it was like I think it felt like a music venue more, which probably
It was, yeah, I think.
Probably. But this was a fan-voted battle, which is something that Don't Flop haven't really done since. But I think they should, because, this is an interesting matchup.
You're that completely normal guy on a battle card that'll practice bars on a Yamaha at the park. You've actually brought it with you today on top of everything else. In the Megabus's special luggage, on top of everything else. You're like a fucking parent who's been scaring themselves silly, convinced that their kid will be in menacing peril if they let it out of their sight for a second and dwell. Like, it's a musical instrument. I'm sure it can fend for itself.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, I think, a big mirror match at the time, a little bit. And fan voted. We kind of assumed that would happen when they put our names out to be voted, I guess.
Apparently it was 2 hours and you were top of the polls.
Right, yeah.
Okay. It's interesting as well, just to put this in context of time. Introduces you as the star of 2 April Fool's classics, introduces Mos Prob as the star of the legendary 7K View classic against DNA, which was just still growing at that time. But incredible battle. So this is, on paper, incredibly exciting, and maybe if this went down in Fiddlers it would have been better, but I appreciate what you were saying earlier about angles. It never feels like you quite get your hand on the holster, if you know what I mean. You don't seem to ever cut into him, whereas Mos Prob has that like dynamite third. He
as far as my wits remember, to the extent they can, he had a good third. In terms of my performance, man, I was quite disappointed with it. I mean, I really didn't feel like I properly had, like, I don't know, I just didn't have enough punches, basically, and I just rambled on a lot throughout. Weirdly, someone's put this battle, of all my battles, on Rap Genius.
Really?
Someone's like deconstructing it's someone involved in battle rap as well, and I think someone I know, actually, but I've just completely forgotten who it is. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. So I was looking through because this was the only prep for this this interview that I did, was to look at the Rap Genius entry for Marlo versus Mos Prob, and they're broken down into rounds as well. So I kind of I was looking through it. I just had maybe 3 punchlines in the whole thing. I don't know, something ridiculous like that. So it was, I was not happy with that battle when it happened. But
I'm going to check that out on Rap Genius, because maybe I can add a few annotations myself. So
go for it.
You begin, flipping.
There's some hilarious ones on there as well. There's some genuinely there's some gold there. I think one of the punchlines I said, and probably one of the only things I was happy with, was if this is a mirror match, watch me catch my reflection. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, said it way before Iron Solomon, right? Because I swear he says that against. He says that against Daylight, but anyway, right. Something like that, and it's just it's got a sort of 5-page breakdown of that bar. Wow,
what the top trick ideas of reflection and shit. What is he even going into? But
it's really dedicated. It's great.
You go in on his clothing. He's wearing a slightly frilly, interesting shirt. Most probably.
Oh yeah, I was happy with that, because that was a flip on the day.
Yeah, it was nice. Upper class pajama project. Is what you call it. It's nice, but from literally the first line, the vocal is kind of echoey and boomy, and it's not awful. It doesn't right now there seems to be this absolute vendetta, maybe fairly so, but maybe a little viciously drawn, against Don't Flop and the sound quality at certain events. And this isn't quite as bad as that, but it's kind of in that thing. You studied film, worked in a call centre, write comedy when high, stop copying my life. So yeah, this mirror match idea is, you compare it to Moon, which I liked. Obviously, great movie, great reference.
Yeah, really, yeah. That's an awesome movie. I think I just watched it recently at the time, clearly. Because I was I probably just watched it and thought, oh yeah, I'll throw in a bar about this. It'll be great. People will get it. And then,
3 years later,
people, you did, and some other people, hopefully. Yeah.
It's weird, actually. That guy Duncan Jones, he did Warcraft recently, which is just kind of to go from the minimal brilliant sci-fi to what looks like. I haven't actually seen Warcraft, but it looks pretty bad.
I want him to direct a film about his dad about David
Wow,
Bowie.
yeah. Do you reckon he would? Is that...
It feels like it would be a real kind of personal project, and that alone in the
Would
marketing.
he have to be in it, though, kind of? Well, I guess a kid would be in it, wouldn't he? Who'd be here?
Well, that's it. It would be him just talking about it from a real personal point of view. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe we'll start a petition and make it happen. Right?
I like that actually. That's a really interesting idea. My dissertation, then you say clone shit on the moon thing. So weird, you clone shit. That's a Harry Baker punch, right?
Yeah, he can pull it off though. Like, I can't.
This Liverpudlian looks like he lives in a puddle is probably one of his best. But
yeah, that was great.
My dissertation will shit on your dissertation.
I was happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think it's terrible. I quite like, you have quite a URL punch right at the end. Boring to write for, like an uninspiring lock combination.
Boring to write for. I mean, that's
the problem is boring doesn't work, does it? Yeah.
But that's so bad that it's not even good. it's like if I put that in bad bars, that would have been the one that just doesn't get any reaction at all, just falls completely flat, and it does anyway. So, but yeah, that was something else.
You know, Mos in his first says he's going to come with more hat flips than a Dick Van Dyke musical.
Sure, he's been watching a lot of Dick Van Dyke, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
And brings that into the element, which is good. I love that you can just tell what people are watching a lot from battles. Maybe not from that Dick Van Dyke line, but certainly from like My Moon line, or from, you know, a lot of like Souls sort of 2013, 2014 battles. You can get a sense of what people are just kind of watching at that time.
Finished degrees like yours on the way to a lecture.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
And that kind of 3-0'd me as well, which was straight.
I think that's the most memorable line from the battle, isn't it?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that is really fun. I like your second, though. I mean, you're hard on yourself, but I do like your second, the whole keyboard angle. Completely normal guy in a battle card that will practice bars on a Yamaha in the park. Is that true? Did he always just bring his keyboard with him everywhere?
Yeah, I remember him having it. I think he has it on during that DNA Street battle, but it was funny for me because I saw that after I'd seen him at a different event where he definitely had brought it with him,
right.
And I am pretty sure he brought it with him to Liverpool as well at the time, because he was touring with not touring, but I mean, he was definitely doing shows and stuff with Sanity Valve, which was the group he was with, and I guess just other stuff, and he just sort of, I guess, always had it to hand, you know, because you never know when you might need to just bust out some like insane, I don't know, just some insane medley or something.
And you just go in on the instrumentation. You don't talk about destroying the piano, Eek getting mad at the piano because of the key it ought to have.
That was around the time that Eek was talking about the key. Yeah, the key stuff.
What is the key stuff? I'm not aware of that.
So that was during the Don't Flop tour thing. I forgot what they called it. Oh, Don't Flop in the House.
Yes.
It was called. Yeah, he. I think it's just the one where they go to Manchester and Eek's just ridiculously drunk and he starts like having a go at Enigma for rapping in the wrong key over an instrumental, or just sort of saying, you know, like. And it just became infamous at the time, like in sort of, like the fan culture around Don't Flop, and he was just sort of saying, it's the wrong fucking key, and that was like the kind of catchphrase that I think had sort of solidified from the time.
See, I thought it was a reference to drug use.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, definitely. Yeah, it had those double meanings. You get the double meanings. Yeah.
Rapunzel, Mos Prob's girlfriend, now wife, rhymes with crap cuddles.
I feel so bad about this because obviously a couple of, you know, I've seen Jacqueline like a couple of times, obviously since then, and she's a really lovely person. And I'd never met her at that time. You know, we went to, you know, we were all at Mark Griff's wedding together and everything like a couple of years later, and I just felt so bad bringing, because I don't think I've ever brought someone's girl into a battle quite like that, but no, yeah. So obviously getting oversensitive about it.
And you imagine the reason why Rapunzel gets brought up is because obviously she battled a little herself, and you're kind of like, how the fuck did you get that to happen? You imagine Mos Prob reenacting the plot to Inception, him supplanting the idea, even it's pretty funny stuff. And then how did you get a girlfriend? And Time is called, and
I was kind of happy with that. I mean, that again, it's those. I was more happy with the stuff that didn't rhyme in this battle than I was with the stuff that did. I think it was just those odd kind of little jokes, I suppose, that you throw in kind of thing, which were a bit kind of fresher to battle rap at that time than I think they are now. But because no one was really doing, I suppose, kind of meta jokes or just out of the box kind of shit to that kind of sense, I guess, at the time.
Yeah, and for the next 2 rounds, Prob begins his seconds. He says that he's going to win by winning, and he starts going in deep. Best friends reshuffle. Can't always rest on your laurels when your Hardy isn't with you.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
good bar, nice little bar. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Your parents playing
comedy bars.
Do you like Laurel and Hardy? I've never really watched them. Are they worth it?
I mean, I've not really watched much of them, to be honest. But they're good sort of classic kind of fodder. You could there's some that stand out more than others. I couldn't name any to you. All the good ones, all the big ones. That's what.
There's the one where they get hit by bricks in a chimney. That's a famous one.
Classic. Isn't that great? Isn't that a great one where they get hit by chimney? He pretended.
There's some plinky plonk piano in the background. Oh, it's fantastic.
But I do. Buster Keaton though.
Oh, I was going to say his stunts are fucking incredible. Literally incredible.
He, well, there's the famous one, obviously, where the wall falls in over him, and
there's one where he grabs a car as it drives past, and he flies with it. It's
he jumps from sort of bridges onto trains and stuff, and I think he died actually several times throughout his career, but he's actually just got revitalized several times, and he's now Justin Bieber, so he's kind of
biggest stunt of all.
Mate, for my latest trick.
Check out Buster Keaton though. If you listen to this podcast and you just want something to watch, go watch some Buster Keaton stunts. I've only recently discovered him. They are fucking
And not only that, but Buster Rhymes as well. Very good rapper. So and slash R&B guy. All the Busters really. Buster Move. Very good song.
Buster Merrifield.
Have you got crisps?
I don't.
Just sounded like you crunched down on some Pringles then, mate.
No, I think I'm moving the headphone lead, so it might brush the keyboard or some shit like that. But
I'm gonna have some baked beans, Tom.
Go. Your parents. Your parents play Monopoly with actual property.
Good stuff.
Yeah, pretty funny stuff.
Wait, who said that?
Most
he said that, didn't he?
He said that to you.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said something that clever at the time.
Yeah, and then it's a unique thing. He talks about the Venga Boys a lot in this round, and kind of the idea that they had two #1 records, but they haven't stood the test of time. And then he's like, "I'll take a Venga flight to shank you in your Venga eyes, you Venga Klart." It's quite a weird sequence, actually. It's pretty funny.
I forgot about this completely. That's really funny. I might actually have to rewatch just that bit.
No, seriously, that's the funniest bit of the battle in my eyes.
That's for me. That's Prob at his best. Genuinely, when he does that kind of thing.
And I think there's some good shit you do here. You have some great writing in the third. You basically talk about him, rigging it so you two battled. He had everything written ahead of this fixture before any decision was ever envisioned. He might be obsessed. Christ, he connected 9 Ethernet cables under the table to his IP address just to make certain we'd fight to the death. It's a great sequence.
Yeah, no, I would kind of it's interesting. Again, it's still one of those ones that I'd take out now, just because it's so. I think I could get that point across a lot concisely and kind of in a way that doesn't feel the need, I suppose, to be so showy at the detriment of actually speaking properly and connecting some really good multis instead. So yeah, it's still something I'd rewrite, but I think the idea kind of was there, and I think it kind of. I mean, hey, it's glad you like it, because it's kind of obviously was meant to connect and did, I suppose. But yeah, it was kind of, it's just one of those weird ones. Like I definitely wouldn't write it the same anymore.
Yeah, and then again, you end with the sort of the ejector seat. You're the type to call it time in the middle of time.
Yeah, again, see, that's again, I'm happier with that kind of thing than opposed to the battle, which is just says a lot, doesn't it? But oh well, there you go.
And then the third round, lots of middle classness from Mos Prob here, brilliantly written round. I urge people really to check out Mos's second and third. They're great rounds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
really good battle. Really does well here. He takes his shirt off to reveal a Guns N' Moses shirt.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, and had was there something with like glasses? And,
yeah. At the end, he throws you like a novelty glass and mustache, so you can be him whenever you want to be.
That's great.
Yeah,
I mean, he
talks to you, man.
He really does, and say what you want about props in a battle. That was a prop in a battle.
Mos Prob, man, that was seriously good, and we push forward from there. I mean, how are you feeling, kind of as the kind of shuffle and Marlo becomes more of a thing? Obviously, you would take a long gap from solo battles and just do doubles battles. This was just starting to happen. Eek is kind of your kind of last one before a lot more. Like, were you feeling more comfortable in a doubles role? Did you really want to prove yourself with Eek after Mos Prob? What was the mentality coming into this Eek battle?
The Eek one, I didn't feel like it. I guess I definitely felt after the Mos Prob battle that I wanted to write differently, and doing the 2-on-2s with Adam meant that we were kind of, we were kind of, I guess, learning off each other's like styles of battling a bit, and so I was learning a bit more from him, like in terms of he came very punchy, for example, against Ricky Wiley, and then against Soweto Kinch and stuff, and there was just ways that he was writing that would kind of bleed in, I suppose, to the way that I would write for 2-on-2s, and that I would write for him, because I knew that was like how he was comfortable to deliver with how he would write for me, kind of thing, and how we just sort of like trade these ideas off each other going into these battles. And so that just kind of, there was like a few months between the Prob battle and the Eek battle, and I guess that's kind of where I was learning a bit.
Oh, you wanted us to have a debate battle for April Fools. I was taken aback. I thought, no debate, you're just whack. What's the debate about that? You wanted us to have a political debate, lyrically staged. Forgive me for the hate, but this isn't the place.
I was just sort of honing my ideas in a little bit more for Eek, and it became more about, I had a lot more time to write for this battle. That was a big plus for me, and I kind of I actually wrote most of it while I was in Poland at my girlfriend's family's place, and so I ended up being really sociable there. Like I was writing most of it there, and just felt like, when you feel a lot more relaxed and you're writing for something, you can think of angles a lot more. And it was kind of like, a lot of people were saying, kind of a bit before this, it was, bars over jokes or jokes over bars and stuff. But for me, it was kind of angles above everything. And if you can think about, the right angle to approach a battle, and I felt like I just kind of hit the angles on the head a bit more with Eek, and with what to actually, how to actually approach a battle, and think of it more in terms of like this character that I'm battling against, and what I'm going to say about that, and I suppose how the whole battle kind of blends into one, more than just one round about this, one round about that kind of thing. There's kind of like a linear, there's some sort of linear thread, I guess, to it, and just Eek happened to be the best opponent that I could have hoped for at the time to write for. I mean, just in terms of like, there's so much. Yeah. I just had the time, and I had so much to think. So much that I could come up with really from that in that time frame, and just a couple of like little exchanges that he and I had at different events where I'd bumped into him or whatever, that I could just play on, and things that were out there online and stuff, because he had quite a few battles by then. And
this was his 14th battle in less than 18 months.
There you go. Okay, so so there you go. I didn't even know that. I mean, that's he'd obviously been quite prolific, and I felt like he had really good battles and really bad ones as well. Oh, not really bad, but ones which had fallen flat a bit more, and like kind of the crowd maybe weren't feeling it as much. So it was just kind of easier to sort of pick apart and try and etch out this angle of you've fallen off or whatever kind of thing. But try and do it in a kind of unique way, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was a lot of fun to write for that battle, and I had a lot of fun.
And where do you view this battle in terms of your solo output? Is this one of your favorites?
Yeah, definitely. This and the Dead Man one that's going to come out. I'm genuinely like very happy with the. I think that the Eek battle is probably my best battle. Yeah, in terms of my performance, I guess. But it just goes to show what a little bit more time I think can do when you have that time to think about something. You can just prepare a lot.
Yeah. It's a showcase, man. I love this battle so much. Obviously, this is a classic. Your performance is just vintage. Eczema is your opening line. It's something he's got to deal with.
Yeah, it's funny. The battle does start quite. Like it takes a few lines, I think, still to get people to start reacting. Mm-hmm. The eczema thing was a flip. It was like a flip from the day before. That's why I kind of fuck it up actually at the beginning. So it's a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, a little stop-start kind of freestyle about putting cream on his face and
that genuinely was true as well. So we needed it just when that happened. Like again, that was just like, well, that's happened the day before the battle. I've got to try and throw something in, and I have absolutely zero confidence with preparing something the day before and freestyling with it and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it just about came together, but
yeah. I mean, it's kind of you forget about it quickly. Not that it's bad, but it just kind of you start to get more momentum. Talk about what happened to Eek. Eek total shake spliff. That Eek's going places, no debating. And if like Francis, what happened? Because like you're saying, he had 14 battles and 7 good, 7 bad, something like that. He is kind of on off. You got on your bike, tried to hop, and the tire popped, and then you're basically saying that after. Soul, you fell off and no one cared, like an extra in Titanic.
Yeah. Again, I don't know where it sort of came from, but I was quite happy with that. I mean, to be honest, it's maybe like that probably is a bit of a stretch, really. I mean, when you're talking about like an extra, it's a strange concept, isn't it? There are a lot of extras in Titanic when you think about it. A shitload. Many of them CGI'd, I think.
Yeah.
But
there's that guy that hits the fan that everyone remembers.
But I'll tell you one thing, Tom. No one cares about, even that guy who hits the fan. They don't really care about him. They have like an emotional reaction for half a second about the guy who hits the fan, and that's it. And the rest of them, they can all drown for what? And remember again that these are every single one of them based on real people, and nobody gives a shit.
Well, everyone calls Eek shit, including you, because you're having a hard time fitting in. Which is a pretty funny angle. Makes it look like a twat. Everyone rocks with it. Pretty heavy. Call me posh till he's red in the face.
Happy with that.
Crazy.
Like
Don
that.
Tomato.
Yeah, well happy with that.
That's going to be a room shaker, right? Line like that.
Yeah, I was. I mean, that was so perfect because I mean, it's just one of those things with the stars align. I genuinely hadn't told anyone about that line. I think before the battle, maybe Mos Prob, but that was it. And then I think like Ark or someone shouts Don DeMarco just as I was about to say Don Tomato. So it was like perfect. So I sort of made eye contact, I think, with Ark or whoever it was that shouted it, and then just said Don Tomato.
Ark is hyping you in this battle, man. The whole thing, he loves it.
Yeah, I was happy.
Of course, that's what you want to see, man. Shout out.
Very thankful.
Yeah,
I've got every time.
Yeah, fantastic breakdown of his style. Him bursting the strands of blood in his head. How he looks like the whole Malcolm Tucker pretending he's a jazz conductor.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Yeah, that's actually. I didn't even think about that. But that's quite a nice full multi as well.
No, that's a really
full
good
multi. Where'd you come from?
Him bringing up his Russian heritage every battle, and as you say that, again, a little tidbit similar to Josh Fox and the Wandering Arm. Danny Jack can be seen very youthful in the crowd. You can actually see his face. Yeah.
Oh no! How are you picking up on all these Easter eggs, man? I gotta see this. I gotta see this.
What I do, man.
Mate. That's useful. It's come up on the Watch It Again tab on my YouTube. That's cool.
There we go.
Just fuck's sake. Wait.
It might be a little hard to find this one because you got to kind of get to that point, but
yeah. No, go on. I'll but carry on. I'll try and find this. And
yeah, and then
where is he? Sorry, where is he stood exactly?
He stood on the left.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah, I see him. Yeah, very youthful.
Yeah. Shout out Danny Jack. And yeah, I mean we have kind of it's Eek and it's 2013, so you're going to get these Breaking Bad bars. Goes in on shuffle, products under par because you lack chemistry. I mean, clearly you don't, but yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, he had some good lines. I thought in these first two, the first two rounds, I think he had some good stuff in there, and he was sort of playing on the whole sort of bad bars thing. I think from the word go as well. The bear flip thing was, I mean, again, like
oh yeah,
ridiculous, but like just made me laugh. Anyway,
he flips a bear, similar to the Greater Flips thing, and he kind of does your own battle rap resume for you in this round. He goes through all your opponents, kind of says what I went down. Talking about one of them, bollocks was like watching two wet rejects with pet defects squabble over who gets to be head prefect.
No, man, that's so funny. The way, like, when he said bollocks.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, bollocks is one of my favourite words.
Yeah.
So for him to sort of say it like that was just amazing. Bollocks. Like, brilliant.
And then he does the movie voice, which is a little bit I don't know. It's a little bit gimmicky, perhaps.
Coming to you live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. I mean, it didn't really connect, I think, with the crowd and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was I don't know. It had something to it, but I think if he could have done, I don't know, planned it a bit longer or something, and just like stretched the scheme out to rhyme a bit more. I don't know.
This is an explosive second round of yours. You begin with the whole reckon playing Trivial Pursuit would be really difficult with you because of Eek's kind of insistence on his intellectualism, and then you go in on a random crowd member for not knowing about the Count of Monte Cristo. That's funny.
That is no random crowd member, my friend. That is well, I mean, I suppose it is. He's a fan, but no, that's a guy called Darren. He's a legend. Sorry, Daryl. God, that's embarrassing, isn't it? He's a great guy. See him at events a lot, and we actually bumped into him when we were covering Download Festival recently as well, because he works for various things to do with metal music. But yeah, he's a really nice guy, so we see him a lot, and I needed someone to do that on, so I think I sort of asked. I think I asked him, but actually possibly not. It might have just been coincidence that he just was at the front, so I thought, hey, I can involve Daryl because he's a cool guy.
Interesting. Yeah. And you never thought you could hate a fan of Breaking Bad, but every time you put up a status Fran, I flag it up as Facebook spam. So I mean, at the time, being his friend during Breaking Bad, was he just doing these long like diatribes or on Facebook? Yeah. So the whole thing I talk about with the WB Yeats, the Yeats poem that he references. That's completely true. Like, that was on Facebook, and I think he actually did delete it like a little bit later. But it was just a really funny thing for him to brought up in his status and stuff, and I just thought it'd be a funny angle. It was really funny.
He had this status saying like, everyone's talking about. It was just after the Tread Light. You watched Breaking Bad?
Of course.
Yeah. So the Tread Lightly episode, and right after that line had sort of dropped, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy." And I think he put up a status about that being a reference to WB Yeats, which it definitely wasn't. Yeah. Like there's no there's no way at all that it was a reference to it. Like in the poem as well, because I looked this up in preparation for the battle. It's like tread softly or something, and it's just the word tread, which is the same, and it has absolutely no bearing on what the Breaking Bad thing was based on. But so it's one of those things that luckily I saw because I was on Facebook at the time, and like angles like that are just, they kind of just, when there's stuff like that to talk about, just kind of, clowning is just the funnest thing to do in a battle, and so it's very enjoyable to write. So
and Er's laughing harder than anyone because he probably has direct experience with this, knowing this status, and it's great.
Yeah, he saw it, I think. Yeah. He saw the status, I think a few people had.
Yeah. It's great the way you just weave the lines, the angles you were saying. It's very sophisticated writing. So coming in from the kind of whole Don Tomato angle, just sort of tying it in with his kind of intellectualism. When someone says you're well read, they're describing your face.
Yeah.
Arc again goes mad.
I was happy with that. It was just again, more time to write meant that I could think of more, I don't know, just slightly feigning a slightly cleverer lines, I guess, or just like funnier punchlines like that, and I'm just glad like it just connected, because I think ultimately it does come down to like how much like a crowd is feeling you, how well like your battle is received online as a result, and that kind of thing, because if the room was completely dead and cold, and like I was still delivering it the way I was in the day, like you and I would probably be having a very different conversation about this battle, because I just remember it completely differently. But it's just, it was just nice, to have like to feel like you definitely, you got good crowd control or whatever.
And I love, again, really just original angles in this, talking about how, he's obsessed with the past, treating things that are historical like it's topical, him offering Mos Prob space underneath his corridor, like crazy shit, man, really like funny.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and again, it's like, in terms of delivery as well, it's just, I definitely know there's like a sort of big gap between, maybe not so much in time, but definitely in terms of what I was doing with my performance between Mos Prob and Eek. I was just trying to sort of, refine it a bit more and kind of pronounce stuff a bit more, and not try and rush through like little schemes or what have you, so that which aren't even that hard hitting or whatever, and don't really say much. I was trying to sort of slow it down and slow it down.
And he wanted to have a debate for April Fools, is that right?
So he chatted to me. This is something he came up and chatted to me about, and it was actually at the fourth birthday event, and I just had the Josh Fox battle, I think, and we chatted there, and he just very briefly said that we could have a debate battle, which actually is a perfectly valid idea for an April Fool's battle. That's exactly what it's for, and I think it could be a fucking cool idea as well. And I'm pretty sure that they've done that this
with Jay Dillon,
year
right?
Anyway. So there you go. This whole angle is kind of a bit nullified now, because it just, that's just stretching an angle, isn't it? Just using something that happened as a kind of just clowning on it, I guess, because I think at the time it never would have been. He was very much ahead of his time, I think, Eek, with those kind of ideas, clearly. I just decided to play on it a little bit with that, which is cool.
Works well. Eek again, kind of his second, not bad stuff. The whole left the pussy looking like a decorator's radio.
Yeah, see, but that's a classic joke as well, and like that I'd heard that joke several times. A few people I'd spoken to had heard it as well, and maybe he could never heard that joke, in which case that's a hilarious. But I don't. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That is a joke that had been said a few times, and it's a funny one.
Yeah, it's.
Sorry, go on.
No. Good, please go on.
No, I don't literally have nothing to say. I was feigning
to have anything interesting at all to talk about. Sorry.
And, he's going to give Theo that cane, like his name, Psychosis Holocaust.
Yeah, it was all right.
It's not terrible.
He mentioned, isn't this where he mentioned my girlfriend as well in this round? I think so.
You're the kind of prick who sits on the side of the bath while she's taking a shit or something like that.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it is quite funny.
I quite like that. That's a funny idea.
He doesn't. He names your girl though, which I mean, it's just a bit.
Yeah.
You don't want that, do you? Really?
But like,
I mean, I know it's all fair, but I mean,
I had a pre-bottle stacked up in my head for that.
Even though you're an alcoholic, an obsessed cunt, there's someone for everyone, which is kind of what you go for.
Yeah, that was it. That was the flip. Yeah. That was the first bit fucking. Try to go quite dark for a.
Yeah.
I want to call him a cunt. In a light-hearted flip. Oh yeah, you're an alcoholic Eminem obsessed cunt.
Eminem obsessed cunt. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! It's all meant to be fun and games. I think that probably makes it seem as if I was really bitter about him dropping Angelica's name in there, because I was like, just trying to laugh it off, and then you're a cunt. You know what I mean? Like, seemed really.
And then he obviously it's the infamous third, isn't it, where he kind of bodies himself. I mean, he has like a bit of a meltdown. It's a bit sad.
He does. I mean, to be fair to him, like the crowd were talking. There was someone talking, like to be back, and it is. I had it happen, with against Tricky P, and it's not a nice feeling. I feel like, they were kind of talking a bit throughout the entire battle, and I don't know, like when maybe a couple of his lines weren't landing that much, like it could be like, I know it can be incredibly off-putting if like stuff it doesn't land or whatever, and then you hear someone talking or whatever in the background, and clearly that's kind of like what you're attributing to your stuff not working or whatever. And so I mean, I don't blame him, but it did get a bit like a bit too much. Like it's like, doesn't he like say I'll see you outside or some shit?
He threatens some guy. The last thing you actually hear him saying in the whole video is "fuck the crowd."
Fuck the crowd. You don't want to end a battle like that.
No,
but I mean, I suppose it's better to end it like that than start it like that. But no, I did feel for him. I mean, it was your stuff's not landing in a battle. Like then there's some fucking guy talking. Do you know what I mean? Like it can be really off-putting, but at the same time, it's like just try and power through. Like because obviously you can always redeem it. You can always kind of bring yourself back, no matter how. I suppose little reaction you've got for like a run or whatever kind of thing, you can always bring it back with just all it takes is one line, I guess, to sort of bring it back. So I was it was a bit sort of like, oh come on man, just continue, just keep going with it, man.
Yeah.
And just ignore that cunt or whatever, like
it's tough. I mean, judging as well quickly, Ogmios calls it one of the most entertaining things he's ever seen. Marlo, he sees you as on fire. You get the win for him. Old English calls Eek attention seeking and thinks that he's good enough not to attention seek. Again,
that's like fucking Mean Girls or something.
I know.
How catty is that girl all of a sudden? Just like, I just think that Eek is like way too good to be like attention seeking the entire battle. Wait, who said that?
Old English.
Oh, Old English. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's such a funny thing to say.
I know. Yeah, it is quite childish actually when you think about it.
But Old's hilarious, man. And he does it. He does not give a fuck. Like he'll just like, yeah, he's a funny guy, man.
Yeah. No, he seems. I mean, I hope he comes back to Stone Flop. He seems to have gone a bit AWOL.
Me too, man. He had some really good performances and like some really like, I don't know. It's just the way like he delivers some bars as well. Like it's just so funny. He smashes it, man.
Yeah, Izzy Gibbs is there. It's cool to see him judging this. Actually, that's pretty cool. Back in the day, Eek was too distracted for him, so he gives it to you. Innuendo again.
Distracted.
Distracted, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was definitely distracted because I thought for a second you said distracting.
Right.
like while I was rapping, Izzy Gibbs just could not take his eyes off Eek. Like he just had that glow, Do you know what I mean? Just
Innuendo, again says that Eek, it gives it to you, of course, and says that Eek bodied himself in the third, which I think is quite true. And Impact, Eek is a nutter in his eyes, and I think it's his girlfriend is there, and he kind of offers it up to her, and she says that Eek's a nice guy, but she gives it to you, man. Unanimous win. It must have felt great.
Yeah, it was a cool feeling. I mean, it is a shame that it kind of happened under kind of such. I mean, the crowd weren't feeling Eek, throughout the battle, and I feel like they weren't giving him enough in the first or second round. Like, he had a few reactions or whatever, but like I think, it was really nice, obviously, to like get the win and to get it as a unanimous kind of unanimous vote. But yeah, it's a shame, just obviously all the shit that went down in the third round, and that it wasn't kind of a bit closer, I guess, because I actually prefer it, obviously, when a battle is closer to call. It comes down to a bit of a preference thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, very happy with my performance in that one anyway. It's one that I can rewatch without cringing too much.
Yeah.
I do still cringe a bit in it.
You're going to, it's just yourself, isn't it? It always brings that out of people. But this is, again, fantastic battle, no doubt. One of your best solo outings. And it's great that this was kind of the one you bowed off the solo stage for kind of since about 18 months or so. So Eek, yourself versus Eek was October 2013. And then March 2015 is when we get the next solo battle against Tricky P. Was this a conscious thing, or was it just kind of there were too many good offers we shuffled and you didn't have time to do anything else?
So I think we were just, we were obviously doing the 2-on-2 battles, trying to focus a lot in that time on making the sketch comedy that obviously we do as a duo as well. And I think for me, I had a lot more that I was trying to focus on. And I just didn't want to kind of oversaturate, and there weren't any kind of battles that I guess really would really jumping out at me, or like kind of names that I just felt like, I'd only do this one as a solo. It was mainly just 2-on-2 names that kind of, we were getting flown out to America and then to Canada and like all this stuff. And we were battling, obviously had the title shot. We had the 2 title shots.
Yeah, you by the way, just quickly, you guys versus C Major and Cracker is one of my all-time favorite battles, I have to say.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll have to, we'll chat about that when we get, Adam on as well.
But classic.
But definitely, so I guess, it just kind of, I don't know, really. I was working a lot and just trying to, I guess, find the inspiration. I was only really kind of inspired to write for sort of 2-on-2 battles when we kind of had solidified ourselves as like the champs or whatever. It kind of, there wasn't much in the way of solo battles that kind of interested me, I guess, in that time. But Tricky, weirdly, I knew about for ages before the battle. So it was kind of like, this was one of those ones which I think it was meant to happen at, if memory serves, it was meant to happen at a different event and then got pushed back. I think possibly it was meant to happen in Leeds for the birthday. So I was going to do the Dialect and Zen battle and Tricky P, but then it got moved back to the like Leeds 2.0 or whatever it was. No, it was like the birthday.
Yeah, 6.5.
6.5. Yeah, so the birthday and a half battle. So it just kind of it got sort of moved around a little bit. So I've been writing for that for a while. Yeah,
and looking back on this battle seems to be received. It's a good battle, but I don't think it's no one's going to say it's their favourite Tricky P or their favourite Marlo battle, are they?
You spent a nice camped out between a mossy log and a soggy rock. You have a crown made out of ferns and call yourself the forest god. One half of this room's thinking, why doesn't he get a proper job? The rest just want to be the ones to introduce him to oatmeals.
No, which really, for me, I think going into it and then coming out of it, I should say, was strange. I guess I expected a lot more And I think it was mainly because I'd been writing for it for fucking ages. So I was really refining shit that I was writing. I was like, oh, you know, this should go in, I'll take this out, you know, kind of thing. None of that happened with like Prob, Cracker or Josh. It was like those battles was like 2 weeks, boom, I've written what I'm doing, like this is it kind of thing. And there weren't a lot of punchlines as a result in like where I'd like them to sit. And no, but with this one it was like it was I'd been writing for a while. I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to say. I kind of said them. Kind of what, you know, watching it back now, there's a few things that I thought could have got more, but also I understand kind of why they didn't. And in terms of, I'm just talking about obviously crowd reaction here, purely. But then there's other stuff, especially like kind of towards the end of the second sort of third round kind of stuff, which, to be honest, I get it. I get why people, I mean, I guess I kind of almost overestimated how much people were going to sort of, in that crowd specifically for Leeds, kind of remember Tricky P, or just sort of say, I'm sure a lot of people knew him and knew his style, but it kind of, I think it came as a bit of a surprise to people, the kind of style he was bringing in and the stuff I was saying against him, and it just, something didn't feel quite right. And also, Shuffle had his drink spiked and was just acting like a fucking dickhead the entire way through. And
he screams really loud at the start, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's actually really funny watching it back. But like on the day, I was like, for fuck's sake. And he was with my mate Josh as well, who's there with him as well, who I think like had the same kind of fucking shit that like Adam was on or whatever.
Right.
And they were just, and I was obviously sober as a fudge and couldn't you know, and obviously was not, you know, like just to be kind of sound mind for the battle. And yeah, but like, so they would like, he was just like screaming massively and it was just, then the crowd weren't really reacting, and like people were fucking talking around the like everywhere towards the back of the bar, and that became really kind of apparent for both, you know, mine and Tricky's rounds kind of thing. But there's stuff I like, it genuinely stuff I say that I quite like in that battle, and I definitely wouldn't sort of change. I think there's stuff I'd replace for kind of, I guess, more jokes or whatever in there. But yeah,
I like the intro, the only gone and got bloody Marlo in the ring, you know, Dad and the kids. But yeah, who does remember Tricky P? I guess that's the problem. I mean, I guess most people's access to it, but obviously, you know, says Blood in the Water 5, you're like, oh, fucking hell, that was so long ago, like, you know what I mean? It might as well not have happened in the eyes of a lot of people.
Right, exactly. It's kind of, it was a younger crowd, not in terms of age, but in terms of, well, maybe in terms of age as well, but definitely joining the Don't Flop bandwagon, I suppose. It was kind of a good crowd in that sense. Yeah, or battle rap generally. Like,
yeah, it's just it is one of these. I don't want to focus too long on this battle, just because it is. I don't know. It's kind of it's interesting how weird it is. Like you can't quite put your finger on it because it is quite fun. I think maybe it's a little long as well, especially on the.
You know what? I also feel like I can put my finger on one element, which was that we were trying to follow O'Shea versus Pedro.
Yeah,
which. Like probably one of the best battles ever, and just fundamentally fucking hilarious, and for like in a very different way really funny to like what I was trying to go for, certainly what Tricky was trying to go for as well, I guess. And so once you're trying to follow like an act like that, and we're like the last ones of the day, the whole crowd has been standing up, you know, on their feet the whole time, and like have just had the most hilarious fucking random battle.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Ever, and just the most random sense of humor stuff. And like this is very kind of like tailored, specific jokes that both of us are kind of trying to go for in terms of like personals and that sort of stuff. But like, I mean, I had just some. I mean, in the second round, like in the stuff I'm talking about, like him changing his name, I was happy with that, and it was kind of easily gettable. And there was some I was just, you know, happy with just some of the writing that I had in that battle, so I was kind of disappointed that it didn't get more reaction in that sense. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, like it's we were never going to be able to follow O'Shea versus Pedro,
no.
and that's
it's at 56k, so it's not been ignored. It has gotten good views.
Definitely not. I just feel like it's one of those ones where a different kind of vibe in the room would have given it, would have, like, I don't know. This isn't to say at all that battle rap, like, fans or people who consume battle rap are like led by this or fickle in any way. If anything, a lot of people kind of study the bars or the lines like a little bit more kind of online or whatever, but it's just kind of, it does affect your perception, how you watch it. As a consumer of battle rap myself as well, watching a battle which is kind of falling flat a lot more, or kind of just getting the odd laugh and not much more, it's just not as fun to watch, and it's just not as it just doesn't, it obviously doesn't get remembered as much, because like the atmosphere in the room has to be kind of spot on the entire way through. And I've been, witness to like quite a few battles where like what the battlers are saying, any other day, any other crowd, any other room would get a lot more, I think, and it would just like it just totally depends on what that crowd are saying and what they were responding to that day. And likewise, other ones where people are fucking losing their shit over the smallest little bar, or like someone doing a defeat line,
right,
non-ironically. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how I see that battle. I quite like my writing in it, but it just doesn't. It definitely isn't like my best battle, and it's not like. It's definitely not his either. But we had fun saying that shit to each other. Yeah. We had a beer and a chat about it afterwards. So.
He seems like a really cool guy, actually.
Yeah, he's a really nice bloke.
Yeah. He looks very American Pie-ish, doesn't he? In a sort of weird way. He has that kind of like late 90s jock vibe. But check out him versus Chris Lees as well. There's a battle not many people know about.
That's good.
That's quite an interesting battle where
that's weird, that one. It happened in Canada, didn't it?
Yeah, because Chris Lees won the Times Change tournament, so he got a King of the Dot spot. But obviously, no one on King of the Dot knows who the fuck Chris Lees is, so he kind of
funny.
Got with it. So we'll get on to the last battle. This is a battle that everyone was excited for when it got announced, and it really did live up to the hype. You versus Pedro.
But we love Pedro, right? Yay! He truly is legend status. We knew he meant preparation. Last I heard, Umbro was suing for defamation. And Pedro's slightly risen up, moving smoothly in elevation like Arsenal at World Dom, improving his levitation.
How did this one come about?
How did it? I don't know. Just just messaged us out the blue kind of thing, and this was like right off the back of his performance in Leeds. So against O'Shea with the mum joke time line, and he just kind of blown up in popularity, which I was really happy about, because he'd been one of my favourites like for a while in terms of just how fucking mental his style is. And just like he'll just say anything that just kind of pops into his head, and just this crazy guy on stage just like moving so sporadically fast and just like threatening you, but then threatening you with a fucking deodorant, like just random shit that he'll just say, and it's just like really strange. But yeah, so like he got some recognition finally, kind of thing, and his name was really kind of, especially when we battled, it was kind of when it was really kind of popping, and I felt like that was the reason why I kind of had to go into it slightly replicating his style somewhat. It was meant to be indoors as well. We were meant to be headlining in Brixton Jam on the first day, and it was really annoying because they had like a curfew or something. Oh no, sorry, someone else was using the venue or whatever straight afterwards, and so it got pushed outside. So I really felt like I had to project for it as well. And I also, you can't really see it in the battle, but I'm wearing a track suit, so that's a suit with tracksuit bottoms as well. So you can see that.
It's also known as smart chavule.
Yeah, nice, smart. Yeah, I like that, smart chavule.
That was a sketch I wrote at uni, so I finally got to use that as punch.
And
sounds great.
I mean, I actually heard about your sketch in uni, Tom, and that's what inspired me to dress that way for Pedro. So,
fantastic battle. One of those battles where it's like, unfortunately, it got pushed outside, but in a way, it's kind of great. It kind of gives it this whole new energy, and it kind of gives it training days, kind of.
I do see that as well. I quite like watching it back for that reason, actually.
Luna in the crowd, Grist in the crowd, populated.
Solid crowd, yeah.
Yeah, the two faces on Don't Flop Rushmore in terms of views right there during the battle. And your Stuart Lee idea at the start, the sort of in about 15 seconds I'm going to say, react like I just did a certified lower mid-tier punchline. Pretty innovative. Even though you immediately tripped off, it's rare to see that in a battle. It's quite funny.
Sorry, yeah. It was I think that just came about from just watching that Stuart Lee thing pretty much at the same time. When he sort of starts set by doing kind of a similar thing, and I felt like I had to reference that because otherwise people online would be like, well, he's just stolen that from Stuart Lee. So I felt like I had to just sort of have some sort of mention to it. I just it's always a bit of a risk when you do something a bit sort of I guess like that hadn't really been done much before, because I don't rhyme for like the first 30 seconds or something.
No, not until you go into the whole Pedro imitation.
And I kind of I kind of took liberties with that as well, and decided that wasn't part of my allotted time.
Right.
So I was just like, my round hasn't started yet, but I'm going to start it in a sec, and then it will actually start properly. So yeah.
Yeah, the Raw Salami, Paul McCartney, Tory Party, Laura Tarsi.
Yeah, trying to get as many of those full multis in there, man. That's
you also mentioned Josh Wall's massive forearm earlier than that. That's quite interesting. Quite an
man.
Don't Flop history reference there, but
definitely
great.
Got more forearms. Yeah, what was it? Half an octopus.
Yeah. You talk about him owing you £1.34 for the petrol in the car. Me, you, and Rowan shuffling the car, and somehow the petrol got split 3 ways. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I was on the way back from Leeds.
Yeah. Red Banana stuff as well, and you musing on the inner poetry of his pea soldier, punch you in your son's lip. When the babe ate stuff, not the butter from which it suckle feel too. Really fun line. And Pedro does Pedro. He reps his brothers in the west of Harlem. Voice for everyone like Seth MacFarlane. Couldn't give a monkey like a tight zookeeper. Caught as many bodies as Typhoon Peter, and he admits that he just made Typhoon Peter up. So there we go.
Jesus, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
and Typhoon Peter sounds like a fucking. The next UFC champ. When he brought the bananas out as well at the beginning of the round, like who could have predicted that we both would bring a red painted banana, and then him like a blue banana and a white banana or something. He says himself that's he knew it was going to happen. This was so fucked in the head. You know what I mean? He kind of has that for him. I loved your angle in the second as well, talking about him going to World Dom. Obviously, Pedro has battled on King of the Dart, as a lot of people might not realise. And the reason why was because he was on kind of the GZ card, wasn't he? And the sort of ball boy Wimbledon analogy is really funny, like really apt as well. Glad you liked it, man. Yeah, I was happy with that.
Regardless, and then Pedro as well. Just quickly, Pedro says that you got mentioned in the Chilla Jones and Pass battle. Did you? I don't remember the quote.
I did.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and you.
Wait, I don't even think I've seen that battle. What platform was that on?
It was World Dom 5, King of the Dot.
I would have seen it. That's strange. Yeah. I don't know. So I got some sort of... me or just me and Shuffle?
Yeah, I think maybe you and Shuffle. I have watched that battle, but I remember it being quite boring, and I only watched it once. So, maybe Chiller drops like a Marlo Shuffle scheme or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, top comment will be like, skip to 1924 for the Marlo Shuffle scheme. He might, just doing like references or some shit.
But looking back on this battle, Jamie, how'd you feel? This is a good performance for you?
Yeah, I was happy with it. Again, it's a shame it couldn't happen indoors because there were, I mean, like people always come up to me and say like, oh, it was so good watching that back because I could not hear it on the day. I was, right at the back. Right. It didn't matter how much, like, I mean, I was trying to kill my throat with that and like project with it. Yeah, man, I was happy with it. I think my favorite bar that I said was calling out Whoopi. Yeah, like I was trying to cast Sister Act, which is just like one of those. I just, again, stupid humor is just one of the funniest. Yeah, I mean, like Pedro just had some fucking hilarity in there as well. So yeah, I was happy with it. Man.
Yeah, it was a good look. For
I think he like said like your hair looks like it was done by a pikey barber or something. You don't like the barber. Oh, pikey farmer. Sorry. Yeah. So he's like, yeah.
You buy sex from a bike shed.
yeah. Bisexual biceps. Yeah. You buy sex from a bike shed. Yeah, man. He had some fucking hilarious.
Why do you always look like you've overslept? It's just quite. It's not even a Pedro bar, but yeah.
That's a brilliant. See, that's just like that's really observational and just funny in itself. So yeah, he smashed that, man.
Yeah, he did.
I was very happy with it, and that story as well about his name is.
Oh yeah, that's funny. True. That whole angle in the third is terrific, man. And your impression.
And I definitely, I took some liberties with that because he came up to me, showed me the passport, and was like, "Oh man, that's my name." But you say it in a sort of like tongue-in-cheek kind of way. He didn't actually go like, "Fuck, that's my name," kind of thing. And it's just one of those ones we had to fucking stretch it around for a scheme, I guess. But,
yeah, him putting Pedro as the first name and surname and birthday on the cards galore application form is great shit, man. Great shit. And I hope to see you. I mean, battling single again, probably next year, is it or?
Well, we'll see. Maybe sooner than that, mate.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'll not say any more than that. We'll just have to wait for the surprise, baby, and see how it comes out. But I've so what I mean by that is I've got a solo battle between now and next year. So there you go.
Okay. And finally, Marlo, we'll just wrap up with a few quickfire questions. The first one being, do you have a favourite Don't Flop battle?
Oh, Don't Flop battle. Fuck. I wish you prepared me. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. That's my answer.
Right.
No, I definitely do. All right. Do you want to just edit this so like I've said it straight away? Hang on. I'll try and think because there's too many, man. Fuck. Don't Flop battle. Like I have a favorite King of the Dot battle.
That's question 2, so we can skip ahead to that.
All right, skip ahead to that, and then I'll think of this one first. I'll think of the Don't Flop one first. This is not quick fire at all. I don't know how this.
Or anyone you really like.
Honestly, like the last thing. Well, I think Kruger. Like any kind of. Fuck it. We'll just say like Kruger versus. Anyone. That's my answer. Kruger.
Yeah. Kruger. Good answer. King of the Dot.
Pat Stay versus Head Ice.
Nice. That's came up a few times actually. That is a really good battle.
Yeah.
That is a really good battle. URL. Do you have a URL favourite, Marlo?
Fucking. Hang on. I don't watch a lot of URL.
Of course.
Probably tell. It's just a whole other style about it. I do like it. Like I like it from time to time. I just have to be kind of in the right. Fucking hell! This is again the furthest from quickfire ever. I like Hitman Holler generally. Let's fuck it. Hitman Holler Sue Surf.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. And then final 2, non-battle related. First one being favourite film. Is it The Room?
No, Prestige.
Oh, you know what? I fucking love. You had a Prestige bar, didn't you, against Tricky P?
Yes, that's why I hate that battle didn't get more reaction. Nah, that's my favorite film.
That's a good choice, amazing. Man. I love that.
I could just rewatch it over and over again, man. It's amazing,
isn't it? Just and it's kind of it has David Bowie in it as well as Tesla and shit, and just like it's just it's such an exciting film.
He kills it, man.
Yeah,
it's just one of those ones like I had to rewatch it a couple of times. First of all, to just understand every element that I was missing, but like. Now I just rewatch it and see something different every time anyway. So
the performance
pretty sweet.
Performances are terrific in that. Although it has that ridiculous plot hole where they find someone who looks just like Hugh Jackman in a bar. It's like that's lucky.
That is mental. That kind of that's probably I don't really think about it like in terms of like just get someone who looks. I mean. Yeah, exactly. Just get somebody who
he has to be a twin for the joke to work, for the trick to work. But yeah.
Well, exactly. For the end twist to be. Oh, anyway, fuck it. Yeah, okay. I mean, you know what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean. If anyone hasn't seen The Prestige, obviously Christopher Nolan's done a lot more higher profile movies, but it probably is his best film in my eyes. It is an incredible movie.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, Chris Nolan's probably my favorite director as well, but yeah, that's by far like such a superior film. I mean, like in terms of like kind of someone who enjoys like kind of filmmaking and that sort of thing, like it's definitely one up there for inspiration and that kind of thing. So I like that.
Yeah, no, good choice, man. And finally, your favourite artist or band that are in no way hip hop related?
Favourite completely. Fuck. So many, man. I honestly have so many. I'm listening to a lot of Future Islands at the moment. Right. I'm just going to say... I was a big Slipknot fan. I could say Slipknot. Yeah. I like everything, man. This is the problem. Like I like it all. Fucking, I don't know. Edward Sharpe, the Magnetic Zeros.
Nice.
They're great. I can't come down and answer. Let's just say that.
All right. No, good choice.
Tell you what, ask me those again. ask me those questions again. I'll just say the things really quickly, and it'll be fucking insane, man. You don't even have to edit any of this. Just like we'll just make it sound amazing. So that if someone skips in the YouTube clip to this point, 2 hours and 16 minutes in, then they'll see that I can just answer this incredibly. So, Tom, it sounds as though you've got some quick fire questions to ask me. Why don't you go ahead and ask me? I mean, this is very impromptu. I don't have any of the answers. I don't have anything prepared, but God, go for it. If you have, go on then, mate. Go on if you have to.
And finally, Twitter, social media. How do people get in contact? That sort of thing.
At Marlo Rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I obviously need to change that. Yeah, I mean, I need to change the handle to like Battle Rapper or something to sort of make it a bit more specific,
right.
Or just at Marlo or something. That's it, man. That's at Marlo Rapper. That's the one. Or follow at Woolard and Marlo.
Of course, well, yeah, of course. Of course. Thank you so much, man. This has been great.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me, dude. Really appreciated it. Sorry, this has probably taken a lot longer than.
This is a good length, and this is the length I want. This is the in-depth shit. You've been great, and I want to urge everyone to, don't forget that Marlo does solo battles as well. I know you've been watching all these Shuffle T and Marlo classics, and who hasn't? They are terrific. But I would highly, highly recommend the Eek and Cracker battles. They are, and the Pedro one as well, are just fantastic. And thank you so much, man. You've given us so many hours of entertainment. I really appreciate all the work and prep and imagination you put into it.
That's very cool, man. I'm going to go have a Muller's yogurt.
All right, bro. Well, yeah. This
message is brought to you by Muller Corners.
Right, great.